Oh,
I know Utah drinks the least. I'll almost guarantee that.
Wow, I'm gonna say Massachusetts because some of those, isn't that where like Harvard is and stuff?
Yeah.
I feel like some of the
Well,
smart
Boston,
kids,
I mean, those
yeah,
people
I feel
drink like
they
animals.
drink. I'm gonna
My
say
guess would
Massachusetts.
be the Kennedys, Alaska.
Alaska.
The state,
Ted Kennedy,
Yeah.
the heaviest drinking senator ever in the Senate.
the state that drinks the most, Massachusetts.
Wow.
Wow, good pick.
28.7%.
Boston. They'll be proud to
Nice
claim
job.
that.
What's it say?
Thanks.
28 point.
I
What?
don't know. I don't know.
Jump, when you pulled that map up, I saw something out
Oh,
west.
I got the wrong map here. This map is
What?
underage alcohol use by state.
Well, that's an absolute lock, man.
it right.
Well, you
Jeez.
picked underage drinking. It's ages 12 to 20 who use alcohol.
12. Jeez, we're jamboree in the hills.
You're listening to the Pine Room Podcast, the home of sports, gambling, entertainment, and whatever the hell else has gone on this week. So pull up a seat by the fire, crack open a cold one, and make sure to get your bets in. Welcome to the Pine Room.
All right, everybody, and welcome back to episode 8 of the Pine Room Podcast. We're back here in the studio. Unfortunately, we had some technical errors this past Sunday for the Mother's Day podcast up at Kovalik Field at West Liberty University. Unfortunately, we had some audio issues. We have all the video, so I mean, if you want to email me and we want some silent video for whatever reason, go ahead, shoot me an email because no one does. So, yeah, welcome back to the Pine Room. We're here. We got 6. Unfortunately, two of the usuals aren't here with us today, but they will be with us sometime. But we are here. The show goes on. We're gonna have a good day today.
We have depth.
We
Joe.
do have depth. We do have depth.
Like Cooley's Heat.
Yeah. We got some stuff to talk about today. It's going to be a great show. Got some stuff to recap, and without further ado, I guess real quick, I want to reiterate today's episode is sponsored by Duggars, famous chicken and wings. Go check them out. The awesome food. You can order them. They're now on DoorDash. We actually have some food incoming, and we will hit a little bit on that a little later, but. First off, I want to reiterate on this upcoming Friday at Generations, we are having a live show from 9 to 10:30. We will be there. We're actually doing a sound check tomorrow and getting everything organized and ready. And then on Friday, it's go time. So see us there from 9 to 10:30. We'll have some giveaways. And then we'll have on the 20th, which is the big day, the big coup de grace, we're going to be down there at River City, and I've said this a million times, and I'm gonna keep saying it. It's gonna be a blast. We're there from 5 to 7:30. You'll see us there, happy and bushy-tailed and bright-faced. Is that what they say?
That's what they say. But I don't know.
Bright-eyed,
I don't know. Maybe
Bright-eyed,
shit-faced.
bright-eyed,
Bushy-tailed,
yeah, bright-eyed,
bushy-tailed,
bushy-tailed,
yeah.
yeah. Anyway, we'll be there 5 to 7:30. We're gonna have some guests on, and we're gonna actually we're talking to. I think I mentioned this in the last episode that we are talking to Travis the Terror Clark, who is a manager for a couple of the fighters that'll be fighting that night. So yeah, you'll get to hear from him, and we're gonna have a fun time. Again, giveaways. We got some competitions. If you're good at chugging beer, hit us up on social media at the Pine Room Podcast. And shout out to Chris for the new sign on the set.
Well done,
Yeah,
Chris.
it does look good.
Yeah,
Chris.
check that out. You'll get to read that a bunch of times throughout this show if you're watching it. If you're not watching it, we got a nice little ticker here, it's scrolling with our social media and some other stuff on it. So, yeah, check out the video if you haven't seen it
Jub,
yet.
I know the audio got cut out. I wanted to give a shout out to the first person who sent us an email, Justin Fike.
Yes, yeah, he did. He sent us an email. We've been looking forward to somebody to send us an email so we can give out some gear. Tomorrow we're getting all the merch out with the merch in, the koozies, pens, bottle openers, and then some T-shirts. So, Fike, send me all your contact information over email. That's contact@thepineroompodcast.com. Send me your address, and I could text you, but let's make it professional. So, congratulations to our first emailer. But that's about as much as I got as far as intro.
Hey, I got a question about the weekend. I wasn't able to make it up there on Sunday, and congrats to Jarrett for having a good day of baseball. I know it didn't turn out exactly how you guys hoped, but still, well done to you for a great career.
Yeah,
So
I appreciate it.
I know
Oh,
it's
thank you, Jared. Good
I know it's like bittersweet to you. Now
thank
it's
you,
time
guys.
to move on in life. It sucks, but you'll be good.
Yeah,
so.
it was a good career, good run. It was fun. We had a lot of fun, but it's know,
Yep.
I'm sad, but
Well, don't
look forward
don't rush into being a grown up.
Yeah,
that's
that's the
my
thing.
advice to
Yeah.
you as my younger cousin. Don't do that.
Yeah,
Take your
and
time.
then we
Take
got-
your time. Eventually you'll get
That's
there, but you just take your time.
that's why I'm going back to school for another
And then
year.
I got another question for my other cousin here to my, well, I guess if you guys are looking at me, to my right, and the way you're looking to my left, I guess. Jub, now I heard about your truck. Like, what the hell happened there?
Yeah, so for anybody that doesn't know, my truck, I have had it for I think about 2 years now. It's got 450 miles on it, 450,000 miles. Sorry, that was a
Just
little
off
bit of
the
a
lot.
short. Yeah, it was just off the lot. It was actually a runner truck for the Greyhounds. I think in like Arkansas, maybe
Yeah,
no,
cool.
Wichita in Kansas.
Kansas? I'll
'Cause
say, how many times did it make that trip out there?
I got my,
Obviously a lot.
I
I
got-
guess you're the wrong coolie to ask.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I got the license plate on the front's from Wichita, so it was a runner truck for Greyhounds. It's got 450,000 miles on it.
So who hit this ball that damaged it?
That's a good question. I
Brad
can't.
Goodyear. I
yeah,
remember
it
he
was
swung it.
Brad.
Brad, I got choice words, but I'll let it slide.
Well, I was going to recommend it if you filed an insurance claim yet. Because
No,
if you haven't, you should call down there to. We actually have a loyal follower who's just recently retired from the Chad Broadwater office down there in Warwood, Miss Sheila McCormick. Shout out to her.
Hi, Sheila.
She could probably get you a nice hookup on a an easy claim, nice and smooth claim.
Sheila, I'll stop down by the
Yeah.
office
So
sometime.
go see State Farm.
Best
Yeah.
part
Yeah, but
was,
any, if,
No, you won't see her at the office.
Yeah, she's retired now.
Oh,
Joe.
she's
But
retired?
she could
She's
she
the
probably
best.
can get you a good get you with somebody, a good adjuster that's
Okay.
not gonna fuck you over. or
Yeah,
anything.
but my truck, it's got 450,000 miles. I got a hole in the front right tire. I got a broken passenger side mirror. Now I have a shattered windshield. The rear view mirror is now hanging down into the truck, so I have to hold it when I back up.
All I can say about this is you are your father's son. He had trucks very similar to this. I remember his old Betty, the blue
Old
truck.
Betty.
The mirrors would blow in when you're on the interstate. I remember, Chris, you probably remember being in there and the wind blew, it just turn in.
Wait,
It went from Old Betty to the Blue Goose.
Yeah, with
well,
the
the blue-
spinners.
well,
with
the blue
spinners.
the
That was
blue
a
goose.
tempo, wasn't it? A tempo.
Yeah,
Tempo.
the tempo,
Ford
and he used to have to turn it off at red lights because it would overheat.
And it's not like that new technology where the car
No,
goes
no,
off
no. Yeah,
and
you had to
then
turn the
fires
key.
back up when you put it in
It
drive.
was before its time. He had to put it in park, turn it off, turn it back on, and take it into gear. But he sold that car for $25 in this parking lot right
Oh
now.
my God!
I never
25?
forget who it was. I can't remember the guy who. I don't remember his name, but I know exactly what he had. I think he had a Raiders jersey on and he had a flat bill on. And he came in. He handed my dad $25 and drove out of the parking lot. I think that car got stolen.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that when he was running down the path, I think maybe with dog, and they came back and the car was gone.
Yeah, I remember Jarrett woke me up and he said, "Hey, the Blue Goose got stolen."
But he left the keys in it, right?
yeah,
the keys were in it.
And they found it?
Yeah, they found it
They found
it.
abandoned a few miles.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know
think
if it's
about-
up north, maybe.
Yeah, we called my my uncle, who's the sheriff, and he not at the time, but he they got after it and they eventually found it, and then
What?
The
Wasn't
spinners
that
were-
Judy Ross that stole that? The Warwood girl?
I
Are you talting about the tempo?
We better bleep
tempo,
that. We
yeah.
better
Yeah.
bleep her name, Chris.
Well,
she was not
anyway.
convicted of that crime.
Well, I know, but another time though, didn't the truck, the Blue Goose, didn't it just drift away?
I think the Blue Goose. I think we gave it to.
No, but it drifted on the side on the avenue down there by like 19th or 20th Street. Don't you remember that?
No,
It's like a
wait a
boat.
second.
Drifted out into the
it came
ocean.
out of gear, like
Yeah.
park.
I vaguely remember what
But
you're
it-
talking
yeah,
about.
but it-
yeah, I know that. I think we gave it to Mike, and he took it, and they drove it out into a field like full speed, and were hitting ramps, and then I ran it over. They ran it over with I think his mother
one of those
truck.
big
Yeah,
monster
his
trucks
big
he
monster
has, yeah.
truck, and put it to rest. But yeah, I have not. I guess I do have. My dad and I don't have good luck with. Well, not that we don't have good luck. We just get.
Oh, well.
We just
As long as
ride
you're
'em-
safe, you're good.
ride them to the wheels fall
Well,
off.
Job, have you looked in your in the bed of your truck, I went and got the baseball and put it in the back for you, the one that hit the windshield.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
Commemorative.
besides your truck getting the windshield broken and the audio going out, how was the weekend? Was it
was
pretty
fun.
good?
Yeah, we had a blast.
Well, I heard about another incident that was concerning to me. I heard Champ got into it with some.
Yeah,
Some,
it wasn't, and we're
fans
not.
up there.
We won't go into too much detail, but Champ said some things, and it was not.
Well, I heard that he got a bad rap. I heard everything he said was fucking the truth. And,
Well-
I got to stick up for my buddy here. I'm not trying to get you guys in trouble. You probably know this mom.
It was
I don't know her, and I'd tell her to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you're right.
Because you need to just realize if your son ain't got it, he ain't got it. Doesn't mean anybody doesn't like him.
And here's the
He
thing.
just doesn't have it, and you say you need to get the bullpen up. Come
I
on.
don't. I don't disagree. I don't disagree that was the situation. But now let's take this into account. It was senior day.
Sure.
It was his last outing.
Do you think Ciampo's aware of any of this?
No.
As his attorney, I will
And-
say
and
my
that-
client was not aware, but I see where you're coming from.
So I do have to stick up for the pitcher in that case. Was Champ could have Champ gone about it a little better?
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah, well, he's not the best with
But
etiquette.
does Champ know how to go about it better?
No.
Only if he's
So,
coached correctly.
You know what? And I'll have to speak to your attorney and mine, and then. But I'm gonna just give an apology to the family that was affected. You know who you are if you listen to this.
I will too, because I know they don't know him like we
Yeah,
know him, and
right,
he meant no harm
Yeah.
by it. I promise you that.
Yeah.
The guy's got a great heart. He never would have tried to make fun of somebody or
No.
hurt somebody's
No.
feelings. So
But yeah.
heat of the moment.
It was an honest mistake. He thought he was at the Pirates game.
Yeah, he thought he was yelling to Johnny Cueto or something.
Right.
He did. Hey, he does look like a manager with that WOU hat on.
He
He
did.
looks like that rides high. That rides high in the front.
I thought you were gonna say he looks like one of the people that go up and down the steps at the Pirates game, say lemonade here.
Oh yeah,
That guy died, didn't he?
Oh, well,
Which
Yeah.
guy?
Yeah.
Cotton
Yeah.
Candy Kenny died.
The lemonade guy.
Yeah.
They used to scream lemonade. I think he's dead.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Other than that, I mean, it was a good weekend. God, I felt like we were there forever. I mean, I don't know if you can see this on camera. I'll have to zoom in.
It looks like you're wearing a red glove.
Yeah, I got a red mitten on right now. My hands got burnt because I was sitting on top of the table. I kind of waited today so the sun would go down, so I didn't have to put any sunscreen on. But yeah, other than that, it was a good day. I had some good snacks, had some good talks. Unfortunately, you won't hear any of those talks. But yeah. And another thing I want to point out real quick. Dave Bloomquist, Bloom Daddy, was supposed to be on. I mentioned that at the beginning, which probably isn't going to go anywhere, but he was supposed to be on as our first guest in the Pine Room, and unfortunately with audio, and we had audio issues with music going on, so we're postponing that. Hopefully he'll be on in a couple weeks or later down the line, but thank you to him for coming up and hanging out with us for a little bit. But
Matt,
yeah.
to transition here a little bit.
Absolutely.
Listen, can you kind of walk people through what was going through your head Saturday night when you had you had one win away from a lot of money?
Yeah, so Kentucky Derby, so I'm sure everybody got to see it. I think, Cooley, did you watch it? Did you see it?
I didn't see any of it.
Okay. And anyway, I think most of the rest of us did. Yeah, so I had picked the previous 4 races going into the Derby correctly, so I only needed one more to finish off a pick 5. And I was covered to about 13 horses, so I had very good payouts, potentially. And then, obviously, we saw what happened there with the crazy come-out-of-nowhere horse in Rich Strike that came up the rail, unbelievable ride by Sonny Leone, and the rest is history. I mean, that's only the second
Can you
time.
walk me through what was going on when that horse finished the race and then it was trying to bite other horses?
Yeah,
what
so
was going on there?
So that a lot of times those horses, they know going in. The trainers will let those outriders know if the horse acts up, like he's got trouble behaving, and the horse is amped up. I mean, his heart's cranking, his lungs are going. He's trying to get calmed down, but he doesn't really. He's still in the spirit of battle at that point. So he's trying to. He doesn't like something that pony said to him, pissed him off, and he started to go at it. And then the guy was smacking him and punching him, and the trainer actually. I know it looked bad on TV, and a lot of people were pissed about the way he treated the animal. But
I thought it was hilarious.
the trainer
it was
trainer
funny.
did say that he was actually glad the guy handled it that way because they kind of know sometimes those horses have to be dealt with like that. We don't know what it's like. I mean, just smacking that an animal with that kind of power. I mean, I don't want to pretend I know how it would
I was
be.
listening to another podcast about the Kentucky Derby, and they said that when Rich Strike was purchased for $30,000.
Yeah,
it was at a race.
Yeah, so what they have in horse racing is claiming races. So if you start out with your horse and you think he's just okay or whatever, you'll usually put him in a claiming race, which means he's unprotected. And people with the ability to purchase these horses, whether they have the license, the appropriate licenses and things, that trainers will claim them. So if you saw a horse that you thought, okay, coming into this race, I kind of like the way this horse looked the last race, I'm going to put a claim in for him. Well, when he went in that race, I want to say it was his second start of his career, and it might have been the only race that he actually won. But anyway, he was with a trainer named Joe Sharp, who is a very well-known trainer and has had horses on some big stages throughout the United States. Anyway, he got claimed off of Joe Sharp for this Eric Reed, who's a smaller outfit, and the horse was running on synthetic. He didn't even run on a lot of dirt, I think maybe one other dirt start other than that, the one that he got claimed out of. But he never really showed a lot of potential. And, I gave him a look. When he drew into the race, I checked, and I was like, oh, man, I can't make a case for this horse. I looked. It's like, I don't know. I just don't see anything.
So now can you make a case for a Triple Crown?
No, I can't. I'd have to be against. I mean, he'd have to really, for a horse, first of all, in 2 weeks, for him to be able to duplicate that effort, that was one of the most impressive efforts that I've ever seen.
That closing speed was nuts.
I was the way he threw. How ridiculous of a win truly was that?
It really is. For somebody who watches the stuff every day, you're not going to see that very often, and especially on dirt. In this country, on dirt, you don't see that. You just don't see the way that the horse was able to move without losing any speed, side to side, weave around. It's very hard to do. You see it more on turf racing, where it's not as hard, and they're not sinking down into it as badly. It's not as rough on the horses. But a dirt performance like that is something you just don't see very often.
How much of that credit goes to the jockey, though?
A lot of the credit goes to the jockey, but whatever the trainer did to have that horse ready to run, it was a phenomenal ride, phenomenal job by Eric Reed to train that horse to be ready for that race like that. And, in credit to the horse, it stepped up when it had to somehow.
Yeah, I got a couple questions. So, one, he doesn't come from, Rich Strike. Does he come from any sort of background?
No. He's a very underwhelming sire. I honestly don't even remember it off the top of my head. But it isn't one of your top producing sires, especially in Triple Crown races. You a lot of that you'll see the same sires year in year out in that race. He was not. He does not come from a top-level pedigree.
So now that he won that race, is he not? Well, I know for a fact he's worth more than what he was bought for. But will his offspring be worth more than he ever was?
Yeah, absolutely. So how that'll work is I wouldn't be surprised if you see this horse run maybe once more, twice more tops, and then he's done. I think they'll retire him. I think they'll put Kentucky Derby winner on all of his all the advertising for whatever stable he goes to, and they'll probably have him for a stud fee that's pretty modest for Kentucky Derby standards. A lot of times these horses are drawn, $50,000 stud fees, where for you to take your mare to them, it's going to cost you $50,000. That's low. There's $100,000 too. Keeps going upward. But if this owner wants to make some decent cash, people that are looking that don't have a giant amount of capital to get into horse racing, they want to be sired by a Kentucky Derby winner. They're going to make a lot of money with him, definitely.
Hey, Matt.
Yeah.
Is he definitely running in the next race?
No confirmation on the Preakness. They said they would like to take him just for the sport, for the sake of the sport. They want to, but if the horse isn't ready, if he's worn out.
So they can tell. I was going to say, what's some of the factors that would.
Yeah, the biggest factor for the horses when they're not going to take him to the race is the next morning. And I haven't seen what he did, but on Sunday morning and into Monday, whether he finishes his food or not is a huge factor what those guys look at. So if the horse loses weight and starts dropping weight, they won't take him. If he keeps the weight on and he's coming out of it, he's alert in the mornings, he's exercising.
That's what makes those Triple Crowns even that crazier then.
Right. Yeah, you actually have a lot of care for these horses that people don't realize how much goes into them, like the question that you were just asking, Job, about the siring. You don't want to take a chance of messing this animal up for the future, so they're not going to take any chances.
And my last question here. So at the end, when they're interviewing the owner and then the trainer,
right?
The guy in the red coat, I mean, the guy the trainer that they were interviewing,
right?
Is he directly involved with that horse? Like, is he the one that is grinding it out every day, training that horse?
Here's usually how that works, and I can't speak for Eric Reed's barn because I know it's not a bigger one, but I know he has horses at Mountaineer, just up here a little bit north of us. He has horses there from time to time. I want to say that he maybe his main base is over in Cincinnati in the Florence, Kentucky area with Turfway Park. I could be wrong about that. But he's like a central Midwestern trainer, and he's not a giant outfit. So I guess kind of what you're alluding to is like, is he the one in the morning getting up and getting on this thing?
Yeah,
he's developing the regiment. So what these trainers normally do, now some of them will still jump on the horses from time to time, but what they want to do is they get good exercise riders. There's people that just ride horses in the morning for these guys, and there's also some of the top jockeys. For instance, if you're one of the top jockeys and you're getting a mount on one of these superior horses, in this case it doesn't really apply, but you want to try to get on it in the morning and see how he acts and see what his cues are and stuff. So he has the regiment set up. His people he'll have assistant trainers and what they call exercise riders will get on them in the morning, do the regiment, do the workouts with them. A lot of times nowadays the trainers don't jump on their backs anymore because they actually have nice staffs and they can put some money into it.
Yeah, because I right after that race when they're interviewing him and I think the owner, I got into a conversation with Jeff and I was like, it pisses me off because I didn't know anything. Yeah. I just assumed that it's like Microsoft. Like, I'm sure that who owns Microsoft?
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates. Yeah, I mean, like Bill Gates probably isn't grinding it out, coming up with new stuff every day. No. Like people that are working.
His work's
below
done.
Him. Yeah. So I'm saying like to me that represented kind of like that, where that trainer, even though he might be involved with owning people that work for him and work with the horses, like I feel like they should be interviewing somebody that's underneath him that's been grinding it out with his horse.
Right. And you're right, because those people go overlooked. The grooms, the ones who just do as much as keeping the horse's coat good, just making it look just dappled from head to toe when it was walking in those post parades. I mean, those people go way, way underappreciated. So that is a very good thing to bring up. It's also nice to see the small barns win sometimes, because the two that were going to win with I think it was Steve Asmussen had the horse running up front with Epicenter, and then the other one was who was the other? Brad Cox, or maybe it was Chad Brown. They're Zandon would have been Chad Brown, I think.
Yeah.
So but those are like big outfits, and those guys have accomplished just about everything. Now, neither one of them have won the Kentucky Derby before, so that was probably pretty heartbreaking to them, because one of those two thought they had it locked up until he came up the rail, but. Hey, that's racing, like they say.
Sorry you didn't win your big.
Nah, I know. And one thing I just want to say about when I picked Mo Donegal last week, I was happy with the pick. The race set up the way that I wanted it to. Mo Donegal didn't break well. He kind of got pinched in more so than just drawing the one post worked against him, but he didn't break well, so that hurt him a little bit. He had to come way outside, about 10 wide, and just coming off the rail and going 10 wide, he just couldn't make up the ground. But he was absolutely flying at the end of that race, and if he would have just got a little bit better trip, I really do think he would have had a chance of winning that.
Well, Matt, don't feel upset because it runs in your guys' family. Because let me walk you through what happened later that night.
You're building this up way too much.
So Matt, Jubb leads me down this road about what time do you think it was? 11.
Well, listen. Okay, now hold up. Let me plead my case before you put me on blast.
You were speaking another language right there for about 5 seconds.
What? No. Listen. We go, and I wasn't planning on even watching the end of the fights, even though I had.
You guys are referencing UFC 274.
Yes,
okay.
UFC 274 with Rose, who was my pick, and then Gaethje, who was also my pick.
Right.
Those are my two picks for the night. Of course, both of them lost, but we were. Going out. I was at Cooley's house for a little bit, and then we went up to the Dirty Dog up at West Liberty. And I wasn't even planning on watching the fights. And I walk in, and of course they got the fights up, and everybody was drinking and having fun. And I just looked at Soup, and I said, "Hey, listen, if I was to tell you to take any bet, take Rose Namajunas. I hope I'm saying her name right.
Yeah, I believe you are.
Take Rose. Take her by TKO, because in her prior fights." She's a pretty aggressive fighter, and then you can explain.
The entire bar was on Rose. So I'm talking to everyone around me. Who you got? I got Rose. Who you got? I got Rose. So I'm like, wow.
Rose.
I was like, Jubb has the right pick because the whole bar. Matt,
That's when you should have run for the hills when everybody has
Matt,
it.
Anything you've taught me, I should have immediately known. Take Carla now. Take her.
But the thing.
If I was there with you, Soup, I'd have said, I don't know.
Here's the thing about the fight too, and I can't say ifs this, if that. But Rose, like 3 or 4 punches, almost knocked her out.
Right.
So,
I think Rose won that fight. I think both of them were really boring. I mean, I thought the fight was boring. It was one of the most boring fights I've ever watched in the history of my time watching the UFC. But I think Rose should have won that fight. You know, I'm not a judge, so I can't go into detail about what I think the scoring should be. But yeah, and then I said, of course, Rose loses. Now I bet Gaethje's going to go out and get his head ripped off.
Didn't take him long,
right? Of course, in the first round, he gets choked out and his head almost pops like a zit.
What do you guys think of Chandler's front kick on Ferguson?
That was one of the more devastating knockouts. If you watch it in slow mo, I wish we could even pair this. I put on social media, but. If you haven't seen it, go look up that knockout from this past Saturday. It was the most brutal.
He looked like a cartoon character.
They said they turned him into Abraham Lincoln.
Chris, you see that knockout?
No.
Check it out, Chris.
Well, here's Chris and I. When we're here in the Pine Room, a lot of we're mainly a football oriented sports group. But Chris and I now, Chris, you watch a little bit of football, and you follow football more than I follow football. Right. But once UFC comes on, you and I kind of just like to talk about violence, and we like to watch, because it's something that it's constantly, there's just constant movement in those fights.
And on a Pine Room Saturday, we got football from sometimes 11 a.m. through. All night.
11 at night.
And I grow bored with that because I'm not a huge college football fan, and I rarely make bets. So when you're over there, talking about the fights, who's coming up, and then, it's like, well, I can't wait for it to start. And I'll make some bets on that just because I got tired of the football. But, man, there's some really – it's entertaining.
It's fun. People hate it because it's so violent.
Well, I used to at the beginning, but now it's like, man.
I just think it's exciting.
It is.
It's just exciting. Like, you get to watch – and these dudes are these dudes are the prime fighters of the world, and just getting to see them go at each other.
Yeah, someone made a good point. If way back then, 300 or 400 years ago, when the two ships out in the ocean would meet and people have to fight, if you throw all the NFL athletes out there, NBA, hockey, and then you throw these guys out there on one of those ships, they're coming out on top.
Absolutely.
And
they'd be a hell of a band of pirates. That's for sure.
I might take the NFL linemen.
Come on, over some of these UFC fighters.
Well, they get him in an ankle lock, Cooley. They're finished.
You put him in a Kimura or
it's a fight to the death. He might just let him break his ankle.
Well, you could just sit on him like Yokozuna.
Who sat in the turnbuckle? Who was in the at WWE? The big dude. Shoot. He'd do the stink. Relatively.
Rikishi.
Rikishi.
Yeah,
he passed away, didn't he?
No, Rikishi's still alive.
He's still alive?
Yes.
Who was Big Daddy V? He passed away. He passed away. Big Daddy V was another one.
Did Mark Henry pass away?
No, Mark Henry.
Sexual chocolate.
Because he was also he had a character named Mabel too. The big heavy guy.
Yeah.
Well, and Vader's dead. I mean, there's so many of those.
You know what
guys.
athlete I'm taking to win, though, don't you?
In what?
LeBron James.
Of course.
Here we go.
He would lose. Rose Namajunas would choke him out quicker than she could Carlos Esparza.
We mentioned this in a couple podcasts ago. Oh, God, I didn't say that right. We mentioned this a couple podcasts ago.
That's a tongue twister.
Anybody, and Cooley and I, we actually are something that we agree on, which is a rarity, that fighting anybody that thinks that they can fight one of those female fighters in the UFC is out of their mind. I mean,
now, Say says you could beat one of the girl fighters, and I say he's crazy.
Yeah,
I haven't fought anybody.
I think that's what he said. Am I right about that?
Yeah. He said if I used my weight. But once I got on the ground with him, she's just going to put.
No,
is he talking about you or him?
No, he said job in particular.
And I haven't been in a fight in my life, and he thinks I can beat a world champion UFC fighter.
No,
does he think he can?
Out.
I'll say my argument for Say is that Say is unnaturally strong. Like we played pool basketball with him, and I rarely play, but when I played against him, he was throwing me around like a rag doll. Like I couldn't catch my breath. There was a time where I literally thought he had me under the water. I thought it was like an alligator was over top me.
One time in Cooley's pool we were playing, and Say picked me up by my waist, spun me around like off a cartoon, and slapped my ankle off off the rim of the board, off the basketball hoop.
So you guys think he could just bum rush one of these girls
Yeah,
and get them down?
I
Yes,
think
he
he
may
could.
be a little different.
But
maybe.
if she escapes, though, look out.
Yeah,
He
like
can-
if she gets on his back
yeah,
or
or his
or-
neck's exposed,
Yes.
he's in
It's
trouble.
over.
I think she lands one punch on any of us, it knocks us
Hey,
out.
I wanted to bring this up. We were talking about the Triple Crown in horse racing, but this is amazing. I thought this was worth noting. The baseball Triple Crown. There was a Division III baseball player by the name of Ryan McCarty. He plays for Penn State Abington. He won the Triple Crown in Division III baseball. Listen to these stats: a 5.52 average,
God damn.
95 hits, 85 runs, 27 home runs, and 85 RBIs in a season.
Oh,
Jeez.
Jesus.
That's
oh,
impressive.
I mean,
that dude has to. Do
impressive.
you know what year he's in? He's got to get a look.
I
at
guess he's
something
definitely
from some
transferring
teams.
out of there
I would.
now.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
would
right,
imagine
would.
he
Yeah.
he may be.
He might get drafted.
Yeah.
Here comes his NIL,
Well,
NIL
Yeah.
offer.
Well, there was
Don't
a,
get me started, Matt.
there's
Yeah,
another
yeah.
topic
He-
that we could even bring up further.
he
with
came
the Triple
outside. He
Crown.
asked me this afternoon when I was setting this up.
And I saw this on Twitter. That's why I brought this up. So what do you think would happen first? I think Barstool tweeted this. A horse wins the baseball Triple Crown, or a human wins the horse racing Triple Crown.
There's a better chance
Wait,
the horse
Jared,
would win
one
the
more, one more
baseball.
time.
Yeah.
Will you explain that one more
So
time?
so would a horse in Major League Baseball win the Triple Crown, or a human running win the
That's
horse
impossible.
racing Triple
Gotta be
Crown?
the horse in baseball.
That, but
Like
both,
running against
Both are
horses?
But both-
impossible.
No, I think the dude winning the horse Triple Crown is at least somewhat possible.
No, I'm
now,
on
are
the
you
other-
talking? Are you talking? He starts from the gate.
He starts from the gate and he's running.
Well, at least maybe every horse in the field breaks their leg or something. How would a horse
3
ever be
races in a
involved with
row.
baseball?
He would get trampled on from the beginning.
Can I give a little Twitter?
Does the horse have to hold a bat?
Listen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How would he
That's-
ever
I
win?
think
That's going to be tough.
I
Look
saw a
at this
picture.
Twitter interaction from. I'm gonna give a shout out to these two people, so I hope you guys are listening. David Norman at the David Norman on Twitter said, "Human wins. There's no way a horse hits for power and average with that strike zone and no thumbs." And then Cheadle 0007 says, "Inside the park home runs. Nobody's gonna tag out a horse."
No. I was
Don't
thinking
knock out
like.
the catcher every
Yeah.
Well,
time.
I'd like to see him like try to break up a double play and see like the guy at shorter, or the second baseman or shortstop try to
yeah,
hang
that'd
in
be.
there.
I don't think Jarrett wants to play
Yeah,
shortstop that day.
I'm sick that day.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I guess the more realistic one is probably the human beating the horses. But the horse,
Yeah.
thinking about a horse winning a Triple Crown in baseball is hilarious.
Well, if could a jockey win the race? Does the horse have to pass the finish line, or does the
No,
jockey?
the jockey's got to be mounted on the horse. So if
Oh,
you see
so
him throw the jockey off, he's out.
So the jockey can't run across the finish line.
no. The
What's
horse,
that?
it's
This
got to
isn't-
be.
this
It's a
is like
tandem.
Ricky
They got to
Bobby.
be together.
Is that
This
the
isn't
same?
Talladega
Well, that's
Nights,
like that
Doug.
debate about Chris with the guy's head crossing the finish line.
What was that
That's a
question?
great
That was
thing.
on. That was way back in.
Is that sporting news?
I think it was a Sporting News, and there was always a column in there every time it was published. Ask Hal, the referee. I can't remember it exactly, but it was like two. It was like IndyCar drivers, and two of them are banging neck and neck. And driver A, whatever, he wrecks, and that what was it? The
Driver A and driver B, and yeah, it was if driver, I can't remember if it was A or B's head crosses the finish line before.
He wrecks, and then he gets decapitated, but somehow his head crosses the finish line before driver B.
Driver B's car.
Who
yeah,
wins
who
the
wins?
race? And I think the answer was, let's hope this never happens. But for someone even to write that question, I mean, to send it in. But yeah, that obviously that we'd hate to see that happen. Jeez.
Yeah.
It's no big deal.
Good work, Job.
All right, so you guys want to talk about a little NIL? Is that what we were talking about right before
Yeah.
we took off here?
Yeah, I
So,
noticed you guys put down it. What is it? Tampering and destruction of college sports. Destruction.
Yes.
You may think it's that bad.
I do. Well, I saw today though that the NCAA is considering putting in some rules, which is
Yes.
something me and Chris
Good.
talked about
Good.
recently. My thing, Cooley, is I don't disagree where you guys are coming from with the kid should be able to get whatever he possibly can, but I have a problem with it when they're luring them from school to school, and when you're at a place and you sign to commit there and you have an NIL deal in place, and then here comes Chris's school. He's a big booster, and he's throwing money, and then they're basically bribing the guys that come to change schools. And I think you should have to honor your scholarship at the school you went to, and then if you leave that school, your NIL deal leaves with it, and then you shouldn't be able to be recruited with an NIL deal. That's
I like that.
what I think.
I do, because here's where
But when you get there, if you want to get $5 million, good for you.
And Cooley argues that, and I'm going to let him go after this, but I really like the NIL, like the options and stuff. I think it's good for them. I do really think that they should be reimbursed or some type of credit for all the hard work they've put in. Like I know you were talking about Zion. Zion would have been a millionaire.
Real quick.
He probably was.
NIL, for people that don't know, you want to
name,
explain
image, likeness.
There you go.
Because for the longest time they were selling their jerseys and all that stuff, and they weren't getting any money.
They didn't get a dime.
So Cooley, go ahead on your fire away. What do you got?
People act like it's just joint education and stuff, but there's only a select few athletes that are really getting millions of dollars. It's not like all 54 players on the football team are getting millions. Right. It's the quarterback, maybe a top receiver.
They probably weren't going to class anyway.
Yeah,
you're right about that.
So I get education's important. I'm all for education, but money. They need, some of these kids need the money. They come to the school and they don't have any money. They're sleeping in their cars, and they get a scholarship, but that just pays for the school. They don't get money.
Yeah. Well,
at the Division I level, a lot of these guys live like kings, depending on what. And a lot of these schools cheat, so let's not kid ourselves.
I was going to ask this. So, and I mentioned it on Sunday, but we don't have any of it. But how would you delegate who gets what based on the income of the university or the school? How would you know who brings in what kind of money? So say if even down to Division III, Division II. Are you going to pay those guys? Like they might not be like you're not they might not be.
They make $0 for that school. All they are is an expense. Seriously.
I actually researched that, and it said about each 5-star athlete that goes to school brings in around $2 million.
So, but
that still doesn't cover the expenses of the program, though. That's the problem.
And 5-star
per athlete?
Yeah, it's so expensive for that.
But I'm saying that's just one athlete though. Like
how many 5-stars are at each school?
Yeah, but there's not that many.
Well,
and most programs lose money.
How many athletes are making millions of dollars? That's very select.
You're right. It's
the money's also coming from private. So, Joe, like your question, in my opinion, and we'll get other guys' thoughts on this. For those deals, it's an outside business that's paying these. So the school, for whatever, the school's not actually getting as much as you think from this. I mean, they're getting some advertising and things they can do now that they weren't able to do with these athletes doing commercials and so on and so forth, which they never were allowed to do. But the kids are the ones that are.
Oh, they're benefiting
because
big time.
People say that these schools have made money off of them for years. I don't agree with that. I think some cases, but.
Why don't you?
Because the college football programs, and I don't have this in front of me not right now, but I do look it up relatively often. How many programs actually turn profits in a season? It's like less than 5.
It's not that many.
It's like all the merchandising and all the stuff. I mean, if you kind of put that in there, bookstores and stuff. I'm sure that the campus still makes some cash off these guys. I get that. But the programs themselves they're not making money off these kids. It's just not true.
So what happened? So what do you think would happen to a university if they're paying the top 5 athletes, let's say $2 billion a player, or $2 million? Sorry, not $2 billion. The reason I said billion was I was just looking up that Yale, in their operating budget for a year is $42 billion, which is just astronomical.
Was that an athletic operating budget? That can't be right.
Yeah, I don't think it's
the whole school.
I'm just saying the whole school.
Okay, for the salaries, I mean, they got teachers there to probably make millions.
So
Ivy League.
Back to my question is, what do you think would happen to a university's athletic, not administration, but the athletic operation if they're paying $2 million to each of these players
if they don't get it from outside sources, then they go under. But that's the thing about this is it's an outside source. So I get that part.
Matt, I don't think people realize, I know you were explaining this, how big of a trickle-down effect that the March Madness
it's unreal.
That $1 billion television deal. It does.
Us out.
It literally, my dad knows about this a lot because he was the athletic director at West Liberty for a long time. And he can tell you, being on NCAA committees and stuff, how much of that money you actually see it coming down to our level. And there's no doubt, like Cooley, to go with what Cooley's saying, and I get it. They have exploited these guys for years. I mean, they do. And these conferences have just bags of cash given to them for all these games and TV contracts and all that stuff. But the trickle-down effect is there, but they probably don't let as much trickle down as they should. So you're right. These guys have been exploited to some regard. I mean, I don't disagree with that, but I think the program is – people are thinking like, the football program is making money off this guy because he's that good. I don't see it that way. Like Texas football, Notre Dame football, they're going to make money. Mm-hmm. They're one of the few programs who can make money, and it doesn't really matter. Neither one of those schools have been good for years. So, I mean, if these athletes are making the money, they ain't doing a very good job because they don't win.
And I'm with you, Cools. I say pay them, man. Pay them, but there's got to be limitations.
Yeah, I'm not against having some, rules.
What do you guys think about this? This hits close to home for me. Isaiah Wong from Miami, he's leveraging the coach in Miami to get him in this school, to get him a better NIL deal, or he's going to transfer. He's threatening to transfer.
See, that's where it gets a little bit
wrong.
That's
right.
Yeah. But I'm all for athletes getting a
Hey,
percentage
if
of
they
their
can
money
cash
that
in on their likeness,
Mm-hmm.
I agree. And I think I actually think this is beneficial more to the female athletes and the smaller sports. Like Jarrett, your college baseball doesn't get the exposure it deserves.
Mm-hmm.
College softball, volleyball. The football and basketball programs are treated like kings everywhere. I mean, the big Division Ones. Those kids are getting money. They're getting things even if they don't have these deals in place. And wink, wink.
I remember
and
this.
Bags of money.
One of the kids I went to high school with, he went and he was just a student at WVU. But I don't know if you guys remember Devin Williams at WVU, basketball player.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to class that often. They were traveling a ton. And I remember he played a game one night, and they had class early the next morning. And he walked into class, and the professor stopped and said, "Mr. Williams, thank you for coming to class today." Because he watches this dude play on TV every night. He doesn't expect him to be in the classroom. When he does come to the classroom, the professor's like, "This is awesome."
Well, and you also had that thing like North Carolina. That was embarrassing what they had going on. They were making up classes for these guys and stuff. I mean, these big programs. It's hard for someone like me who actually grown up around small college sports and loved it so much to see these guys just take advantage of it. And I know they want to make money off of it and stuff, but there's right and wrong, and that kind of stuff's just not cool.
It just would be different if they weren't forced to go to college route. Like I like now that some of basketball players are able to go to the G League.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
So if their main focus is money and they're struggling for money, they can just go to the G League instead of going straight to college.
Here's a real quick stat because we were talking about Yale. I don't know why I brought Yale up. They're the only lock, by the way. Did the Yale athletic program made $47,325,251 in revenue, but they spent $46,697,948.
So they only had $1 billion left over.
No, they had.
You said they got 47 and they spent 46.
Yeah, they spent 46, so they have $1 million left over.
Oh, $1 million. I think you said $1 billion.
No, $1 million left over.
That's just athletics.
That's just athletics.
You would be surprised how expensive
they
it
definitely
is.
spend a lot.
Especially D1, flying everywhere,
I
busting
can't
everywhere.
imagine how much money they not waste, but they spend on Division II athletes. There's a ton of us.
Division II is a
We have to cost
you don't
them
make
money.
you
right?
don't make
it's super. We don't. You should see. I could go into it in depth about it. You don't make anything. Basketball gates, like the most successful program at West Liberty by far was men's basketball. And I mean, on a good night, we're making like $7,500 in tickets, and that's with every single seat packed. I mean, that doesn't even cover half of a scholarship.
So at that point,
So how?
So some of these smaller programs, and I'm an advocate for. I want Division II and Division III to have more scholarships for these kids, to get more full rides, more stuff like that. But it would probably be advantageous for these schools to get more kids in that don't have any scholarships. So now they're paying tuition.
That's the D3 philosophy, and that's happening at West Liberty. And I'm not in a position to comment on that anymore. But I see it, and I think it's disgraceful that what they're trying to do. They're trying to build these rosters. They make these poor coaches. Like Jarrett, how many guys did you have to have on your team this year? How many guys did you carry?
I think on the roster at over 50 guys.
Yeah, see, it's just ridiculous. I don't think you should have to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
So how if you're saying that basketball their expenses are far beyond what they bring in, how do they even stay? How do they
in
keep
basketball?
operation?
Basketball actually doesn't cost nearly as much as like football. Football is a losing proposition in Division II and III. Division III can make an argument that the kids are all paying $35,000 to $55,000 a year. So in Division III, they probably make money off football a little bit. But Division II, depending on how many scholarships you're given, I mean, we're not bringing in any money at the gate. And I don't care what program that is. Maybe a few of the ones up Grand Valley State and Northwest Missouri where they actually don't have any college or pro teams around, when they have full house capacity stadiums and stuff. But at the level of like Mountain East, I mean, you're not making a dime off of this. Even your best programs, you're just not going to make any money no matter what you do.
Yeah.
But back to the NIL deal, like, they're coming from outside sources. So whether or not Yale's bringing in a ton of money, like, that's not really relevant because they're not really paying the athletes. It's like Douglas Market's paying them, you know? It's not, you know what I'm saying? They're getting deals with restaurants and, I don't know, just random stuff.
I love them, Cools. I think it's sweet how like some of these car dealerships are starting to give them cars and stuff.
Like, it would be so cool to get like an NIL deal from like McDonald's.
Yeah.
All right, so to round out the NIL talk, does everybody here agree?
Chris, what do you got on this?
I'm not against those guys getting money, obviously, but it's just going to add to the corruption it already has. Cause it's been corrupt forever, and to think that, you know, the powers that be didn't think this was going to be a problem, and it's a fucking mess. And I did want to bring this up because everybody, I mean, you know, basically sell your services to the highest bidder, correct?
Yeah,
right.
That's how it goes. Well, I was looking up last week. I got a new favorite football player now, college, Zay Flowers. I don't know if you guys know him, but anyway, wide receiver at Boston College. He's from Fort Lauderdale. I think he's the 11th of 14 children. His mom died when he was real young, and his dad was left to, you know, feed the family, working a job, whatever. But he said prior to the May 1st deadline, I guess that's the deadline when you have to enter the portal, whatever, said he was getting all kinds of offers from different schools. And he said that they never mentioned the schools. They didn't approach him directly, but some of those were like in excess of $600,000, $300,000, and he talked it over with his dad. He actually went to his coach and discussed it, and he ended up he chose to stay at Boston College, and what I liked about it was his dad kind of always raised him to be as far as relationships, commitment, and loyalty. And the guy said, you know, it's life-changing money, obviously, and they got a huge family. Now, the guy does have an NIL at BC. I know he's got a use of a BMW or whatnot, but whatever he's got doesn't.
That's feeding the family.
Well,
no,
I know,
just
but whatever he was getting offered, you know, BC, his deal up there doesn't compare to what he was getting offered. But I did like what he said. He said he wanted to stay at BC because he likes his coaches, and he said he did not want to let his teammates down. He'd been there 3 years, and all the practices, the weight room, and everything. He said, I didn't want to walk away from them guys. And to me, that says a lot about that guy's
very
character.
commendable.
His dad, and I'm not, you know, if I was in that situation, if that was one of my kids, I don't know how I would react. But it was a feel-good story, and he did say that he thought in his mind that his degree from Boston College was worth way more than the schools that were trying to lure him to. So they didn't say who they were, but I just thought.
I'm rooting for that.
Hey, what was his name again?
Zay Flowers.
Zay Flowers.
And they said he's probably going to be an NFL player.
Good. I'll be pulling for him.
Zay Flowers. I think he's
don't you guys
4.
think that somebody up in the BC area ought to up his deal a little bit now?
Right.
Say loyalty. That matters. That's great. Hopefully throw him a bone.
I thought that was really great because, you know, most and the BC coach even mentioned too about probably with all his connections with other coaches how a lot of these kids they'll just disappear in the middle of the night. They'll sign a deal or whatever, and then next thing the coach wakes up, where's so and so? Oh, he left for whatever school. So, hats off to Zay Flowers.
Awesome. Yeah,
Zay
good job,
Flowers.
Zay.
Good luck, Zay.
All right. There we got some. I'm just looking at the sheet here. We got some upcoming dates coming up, and one of the things that we have on here. I think we talked about it a couple days ago was the Preakness and how insane that is as far as, and we could get into the horse racing, but I feel like we've got it. We've saturated our horse racing. But what the point about the Preakness that I want to make is how insane people say that atmosphere is
infield
as far as crowd. Just insanity.
Yeah, the infield party at the Preakness is regarded as the biggest party basically in North America. They'll claim.
No,
the Preakness, the second leg of the Triple Crown, which is in Pimlico in Baltimore.
Well, you know the word that I always hear associated with that? debauchery.
Debauchery,
I love
drunken
it.
debauchery,
Yep.
scantily clothed
Yep.
young females,
Yeah, just drunkenness.
drunk people
drunkenness, yep.
everywhere.
Isn't it nuts though that
Sounds
like
fun.
you would think that would be at like a football game or like I don't know some sort of bigger sport. Now horse racing is big, but I'm like to me if I thought about the biggest party event, sporting event, I would never think horse racing is up there on that
What
list.
would you think, Job?
I don't know. I think maybe just some kind like a football, like some
Super Bowl?
tailgate. Yeah, Super
You know
Bowl
where-
outside of the Super Bowl.
You know where our podcast needs to end up though next February? The Waste Management in Phoenix.
Yeah.
No, that seriously
Yeah.
looks so much fun to
Yeah.
be out there on that par 3 when everyone's just going nuts.
What hole is that?
You guys might like the Preakness better than that.
Well,
Yeah.
Job, you know the thing about
16
that too
maybe?
is like, and I didn't really know that the parties at the horse races, the big ones, was that prominent because it seems like football is really the only sport that regularly tailgates. Like Matt and
Yeah.
I had those season tickets for years at Penguin games. We never really, there was no big tailgates going on. I don't know about NBA, but it seems like football always has the most college football Saturday and all that.
Yeah.
But as far as these Triple Crown races, that sounds like it'd be
Hey,
a lot of fun to be there.
I was just looking on here. This year they got Marshmallow headlining this thing. They got the Chain Smokers. They're doing it up right there. Bigger
Wow.
than ever.
Yeah,
they said.
I
This is the first time in 2 years that they'll actually have like full crowds.
Well, yeah,
again.
because of
Because
COVID.
of COVID, yeah.
And I think that I would say probably the two biggest sporting events or sports that I think would have the biggest crowd, debauchery would be soccer or football, our European friends, and football. But I would like horse racing. There's a podcaster and he's a comedian, Ryan Sickler. He has a podcast and he was telling a story about him at the Preakness, and he said that they took a school bus. They had school buses and they would park in the parking lot. And after the Preakness, when everybody's just annihilated and coming out, they would use all the buses were in a row, and they were down. There were 40 buses, and these guys would just and they would get into these fights, and they would use the alley of the bus like a fighting pit, and they would just charge at each other and fight in between these buses. And he told a story where one guy, they were on a bus, and this crowd of people, two guys came up onto their bus because a guy was screaming out the window. They drugged this guy out of the bus, put him in between the buses, and they just pummeled him, and then their bus just took off.
Have you seen some of those
That's
videos,
awesome.
Jump?
It's insanity.
Yeah, if you guys watch it on NBC in a couple weeks, a week from this Saturday, and you'll see they'll be in there. They'll be in that pit. Those people, interviewing people. It is crazy.
But
Sounds
why?
like the purge.
Yeah, but why horse
It
racing?
is like the purge.
Why horse racing? Like, why? How did that become?
It's just the event of the
yeah.
Preakness. It's a huge thing in Maryland and the whole Delmarva region, all the way up the East Coast. Is just that's their event. Like it.
Should we put that on our bucket list?
Hey,
What
I-
section-
I- it's more my kind of crowd than the.
What section of the
Derby.
United States do you think drinks the most?
Oh, jeez.
Out of the
Ah,
I would
you
say
can make
anywhere
it-
cold because
You-
there's nothing
you-
else to
I
do.
would say most likely cool. You're right. I would say in the
Northeast.
North Midwest,
Yeah.
in the very northeast, because you're drinking to keep warm.
We got to be up there a little bit, I think.
Have to be.
Yeah, I
This
mean, I would
area.
say, like you
Moonshine.
said, places where it's cold, people don't have anything else to
there's
do,
nothing
so
to
they
do but
get.
eat and drink.
Eat
I
and
don't know,
drink.
but then again, you got to think about big party states, Florida.
Yeah, but like West Virginia's obesity rate's like top 2. I mean,
Absurd.
Yeah,
Well,
'cause
all you got to do is go down to
Hey,
Save-A-Lot, walk those aisles for a while.
and
You'll
the-
see why.
In the words of Dewey
On the
Finn,
first of the month.
in the words of Dewey Finn, Chris, I like to eat. Is that such a crime?
Wait, what was the other thing he said? Those who can't teach Jim.
Yeah, he
well,
said,
let's relax. a
those
little
that
bit.
those that can't do teach, and those that can't teach
Hey,
Jim.
Job, I heard a quote from your boy Dwight Schrute the other day on there. He said, "Those who can't farm celery." I don't even know what that means.
All right, I'm looking up. I just looked up a map here, and it looks like the state that drinks the most, shockingly. Let's see, the state
Wisconsin.
that
It's gonna be the
drinks the
hottest
most. Yeah,
state.
go ahead, make your guesses. Make your
I'll
guesses.
say Wisconsin. No, Michigan is what I'm. Michigan.
I'm going to say West Virginia.
Drinks the most. I'm gonna say. Oh God.
I know Utah drinks the least. I'll almost guarantee that.
Wow. I'm gonna say Massachusetts because some of those. Isn't that where like Harvard is and stuff?
Yeah.
I feel like some of the
Well,
smart.
Boston.
kids,
I mean, those
yeah,
people
I feel
drink like
they
animals.
drink. I'm gonna
My
say
guess
Massachusetts.
would be
The Kennedys.
Alaska.
Alaska.
the state.
What else
Ted
do you do
Kennedy,
there?
Yeah.
the heaviest drinking senator ever in the Senate.
The state that drinks the most Massachusetts.
Wow.
Wow, good pick.
28.7%.
Boston. They'll be proud to
Nice
claim
job.
that.
What's it say?
Thanks.
28 point.
I
What?
don't
28%.
know. I don't know.
Jump, when you pulled that map up, I saw something out
Oh,
west.
I got the wrong map here. This map
sober?
is underage alcohol use by state.
Well, that's an absolute lock,
I
man.
picked it right.
Well, you
Jeez.
picked underage drinking. It's ages 12 to 20 who use alcohol.
12. Jeez, we're jamboree in the hills.
Close.
All right, so the state the actual state
12.
that drinks the most. Let's see here. The actual
I'm
state
still
that
going
drinks
with
the most.
Massachusetts.
States with the highest consumption of alcohol.
Give us a hint. What time zone's it in?
I got one here. Jump.
Yeah, it's our time zone.
Yeah,
Okay.
East Coast.
Eastern.
East Coast, they touching water?
That's
No,
gotta be like
wait.
80% of the East Coast.
Wait.
Touching the Atlantic Ocean.
Yes.
Oh, no, I
Very
wasn't saying either.
slightly.
Yeah.
Ooh, slightly.
Do you have the same map up? Let me see your map.
don't
I
wanna
think
look
we
'cause
have
I
the
wanna
same
guess.
map.
Slightly. Oh, New York.
No, go ahead,
They're
Jared.
touching
Do they
water,
touch
and I'm nuts.
Are they not? New York's not touching the Atlantic.
Yeah,
Did you say
yeah, it
touching
is.
water?
It's slightly touching.
Well, New
it's
York
not
could be a good
coast-
guess because it was the biggest population. Or one of
It's
the
not a
biggest.
coastal. It's not a completely coastal state.
Is it north of the Mason-Dixon line?
Yes.
Yes.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I mean Pennsylvania.
I'll give.
But they're not really touching the
No.
water.
Let's give me
Delaware
give you a hint
water
here.
gap.
In between.
So it wasn't Massachusetts.
In between New York and Maine. So you have.
Wait, so it's not Massachusetts?
No.
Then
No, not
Connecticut.
It's Vermont, New
Vermont?
Hampshire, or Massachusetts.
Vermont, New Hampshire, or Massachusetts? Those are the.
Pick one of those three.
Well,
Well, I
process of
thought you said it
elimination.
wasn't
Yeah, I'm
Massachusetts.
going
It's
Vermont.
not Massachusetts.
Well, how the hell could it be Vermont or New Hampshire? That's astounding to me.
New Hampshire
Yeah.
is
Really?
is the winner for the
Well,
most
like-
alcohol consumption.
Lake
Well, good for them.
I've
That's
been to,
beautiful
uh,
country up
Yeah,
there.
Lake
but
Winnipesaukee up in New Hampshire. I've spent time up
What
there.
do you-
That's sweet.
home of Franklin Pierce University
Do you
up
think
there.
that,
so-
do you
Per
think that
capita,
number?
so-
Yeah, that
Has
number's
to
got to
be.
be a little
Has to
inflated
be.
because of the size. I mean, their size.
Yeah,
They don't have a
right.
lot. Of
What is
people.
that, like per capita?
Yeah,
per
per
okay,
capita.
okay, okay. I can see that then. I would
Yeah.
say, wow, that's
The people in New Hampshire would like to come here.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to us from New Hampshire, stop by the Pine
yeah,
Room.
come on for a field trip.
If you're ever in West Virginia, stop by. I feel like we drink a lot. I mean,
Morgantown Soup will tell you they try to
Oh, yeah.
claim that they drink
Yeah.
more. I don't know if that's a good
you
thing or a
go-
bad thing.
Are you against Morgantown?
I don't like Morgantown
Come
at
on,
all.
man.
One
You
of the
don't like-
most disgusting cities
Stop
on
it.
earth.
Stop it.
You know, it takes
it-
you an hour and a half to drive 2 miles.
Wow.
No,
It's a
it
very
is
frustrating
disgusting.
place to live. It's
It is a
overpopulated.
disgusting town.
it's
To
a
those
fun
who love
place.
it, I got nothing against
I
you, but I don't.
love
So
it.
I
I
got
love
plenty
it.
of relatives, friends, family, all kind of people that went to school there. They love it to death. I have
now-
nothing
now-
against it, but
it's
it's
a
not
fun-
my place.
All of us have spent some
But,
long
yes,
but
nights.
Soup,
going
do
out.
you like it
it's-
as in a place that you could
No,
live,
no,
or
Filthy,
No,
filthy,
God, no.
or is
disgusting
it like
animals.
it's like Kennywood to you?
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
it
That's-
is. It's
that's
like
right.
an
It's like-
attraction.
yeah.
It's like an
When
attraction.
I
Like
go there,
It's like going to exotic animal park
is,
or
it's a-
something.
I mean,
I-
it-
that I'll
Giant
give you.
house.
Hey,
it's a disgusting town.
You know,
but-
talking
Yeah,
about,
yes, Jared,
and
yes.
I just said that I thought we were up there. We're number 2 for the lowest consumption by state, by capita.
Wow.
Which is insane. So kudos to us.
Well, we
even
do
though-
our part here.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say
yeah.
maybe we
Yeah.
have to
Fucking we
step it
try.
up. Yeah.
Jeez.
Hey,
don't
we're
account
keeping it
for
from
us.
being. We're keeping
Right,
it.
right.
Being
Look,
the
we all got
lowest.
fucking waters in front of us
No,
right now.
I
You
know.
know.
I
It's
know.
Tuesday.
Yeah, it is a
Poor
Tuesday.
effort by us. Your dad would be pissed at us.
Yeah, but as far as how do we get here? We were talking about the Preakness and talking about
Yeah, infield at the Preakness.
what is real
Oh,
quick,
Megan the Stallion's going to be there too.
Oh,
thank
hey,
goodness.
and Lauren Hill.
What'd she say?
yeah. No, that's who. That is actually that. Speaking of Megan Thee Stallion, on the first episode of the live podcast or of the video podcast,
She
Jeff
tuned in?
brought up the song where I think it was like she wants his nutty buddy to go into her fudge round. That is Megan Thee Stallion. That's who
Yeah.
sings that song. I heard it on the
She has
radio.
a way with words.
I
I'll
couldn't
tell you.
believe
Man.
it. A poet.
Yes.
Edgar Allan Poe
Yes,
would be
a
proud.
Yes, a regular Poe. Ralph Waldo Emerson.
I just wanted to give a quick birthday shout out actually to someone hilarious. Today is Keenan Thompson's birthday on
Yes.
May 10th.
Keenan
Phenomenal.
Thompson. Who's that?
Keenan and Kel.
Thompson?
Oh,
Good
yeah.
Burger.
Good Burger.
Well, that's a great movie.
Real quick before we move on here, I just want to go around because we're talking about sporting events. What is one sporting event that you guys think you would want to go to before you die? Like one big.
Go ahead,
sporting
Chris. You
event.
got anything?
He caught me off guard. He gave me a
Go
second.
ahead, Chris. Yeah, take your time. Cools.
Oh, NBA finals for sure.
Haven't you been to that?
Not the finals.
No,
I did,
no.
yeah.
That'd
This
be
year,
like-
this is the year.
That'd be the last thing I'd want
Me
to do.
too.
Something really specific.
I've already gone to a Super Bowl, so that's
See, that's awesome. I would love to go to a World Series Pirates game
At
At
PNC.
PNC Park. I can't imagine what downtown Pittsburgh would be like.
But now hold on. You're a massive Steeler fan and you're a Pirate fan. What would you rather go to? Super Bowl at Heinz Field or
Wow.
or
Well, at Heinz Field, that
at
changes
Heinz
everything.
or World Series at PNC Park?
If there was a Super Bowl and the Steelers were playing it and it was at Heinz Field, wow, man. I'd probably still go with the Pirates.
Heinz Field might be floating down the river by then.
I'd probably go with the Pirates game at PNC Park because I can't imagine how loud. And maybe we'd go blackout again like Kutch used to have everyone do back when we were good.
Unfortunately for you, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
Okay.
No.
All right.
Well,
Sadly.
since he mentioned football, I would probably do something with the Browns since we've suffered forever. I mean, I've never seen them win.
Like if they were in a Super Bowl?
Yeah, but
or even a playoff, like the AFC Championship.
being an AFC Championship up there with 80,000 people, and just even if I wanted the game, just being in a bar with everybody, and if they won the game, obviously. But I think it would be cool. I think I mentioned this to Matt before. Is go over there to Europe and go to one of those Premier League games. Doesn't matter who's playing. Just have like a big rivalry game, and just to see all the hoopla that is with that. Because I love turning it on Saturday or Sunday mornings, and you just hear crowds chanting. You don't even know what they're saying, but it just sounds so much fun. So I think that would be. Because, I mean, I've had my share of hockey, baseball, football,
I feel like
and I've never been to a soccer match.
And it'd be new. It'd just be totally new. And to be in one of those games where it's huge.
And I know I'd be drunk.
Yeah.
I think before or after.
I'll tag on to that. I think if the U.S. was in the World Cup, I think I would like to see that.
Awesome.
I think that would be really
cool. Yeah, we have a World Cup coming here in 2028, maybe.
Or in L.A.
Yeah, and I actually really want to try to go to it someday.
All right.
That and the Olympics.
Well,
if
this thing's successful in 2028,
let's take it on the road.
Take it on the road to the World Cup.
You guys, I've been dreaming of that. World Cup in '94 was the last time I was in the United States, and I was too young to really do anything on my own. But I was in Washington D.C. the year it was there, and it, like the build up, we were on vacation on the way over to Ocean City, and that's when I first got the soccer bug. Like it was just amazing. Like people from all these different countries coming into the town for the games and stuff, and I never got to go to the match, but it just seems so cool.
What was the game? I always watch clips of it of people in bars. There's a big compilation of reactions in bars. It was when the U.S. was in the World Cup, I think. I might be thinking of the wrong thing. I can't remember the guy's name, but it was a
Landon Donovan.
That goal. The videos, if you haven't watched any of that, go watch watch Landon Donovan's goal in the World Cup.
It was like a rebound, was it? Like
those World Cup matches when the United States was good. I don't know, 8 years ago, whatever it was, when they had that little run of success, was really, really awesome for the sport. And Soup and I were mentioning earlier off the camera here just about how soccer is becoming more popular than baseball and hockey in our country rapidly. And a lot of that has to do with Chris's favorite women's World Cup team, and then just the overall success of the men's national team. That little run they had, it got a lot of people interested.
The only reason I'm for that is because when we were grateful enough at West Liberty, we had so many people from all over the country that came and played different sports.
Yeah,
they are so passionate about soccer, and I'm like, well, if people from all around the world love it that much, I'd love to get involved with it. At least start to root for a team and like.
That would be my place to answer what we started this. That would be soccer event, high level soccer of any kind. English Premier League, Barcelona versus Real Madrid, World Cup, anything like that would be amazing. Close second would be the Winter Olympics, especially the curling. I really want to go to that someday. And I'm hopeful that someday it gets into North America and I can go to that. Yeah. And then after that, I would say Australian rules football. I definitely want to go to one of those someday in Australia.
All right, Jarrett, I know your answer to this, but go ahead.
Mine would be a Game 7 of the World Series. I mean, it doesn't have to be the Pirates. Any Game 7 of the World Series.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you had one chance to go to anything.
I mean, Game 7 in PNC Park would be a dream. I think
that'd be awesome too.
But I mean,
in a walk-off fashion, wouldn't that be awesome? If they win the World Series.
I might die.
Game 7.
I might.
Yeah, talk about Heinz Field going down the river. Jarrett would be going down the river in a box.
Well, you might have to be wheeling your dad up there in a wheelchair to get him into the game at that time.
I'd say the sky might be green tomorrow before the Pirates are in Game 7 of the World Series.
Yeah, but sports are fun. I don't watch a lot of them, but if I
wouldn't you say the experiences are even more fun than the actual sport?
Yeah, because I think the very first podcast we talked about, because I don't remember the last, aside from what I'm about to say, I don't remember going to an NFL game. I don't think I've ever been to one. And the first one I was down at Tampa with Cooley and Jared, and it was actually I could care less about who won, where we were, the players, but the atmosphere is just fun to be around. And it wasn't even a full atmosphere because of COVID. It was like half capacity. Yeah. So I mean, just being there, and even though you got to spend $19 on a hot dog and and a water, but yeah, it's fun. It's a blast, and we got to go. Oh, then we got to go to I got to go to my first Rays game when we were in Florida, and that was fun. That was a blast. God, whoever says they don't like Tropicana Field, you're out of your mind.
There's nothing better than a field inside the dome.
Dude, that place is
great.
awesome.
It's very unique.
Well, I said that when we went to the Bucks game, I was sweating so much. My shirt was soaked. I went into Tropicana Field. It was 73 degrees out. I had myself a little. I actually had a Cuban sandwich and like a soda, and it was I was so comfy.
I agree with
awesome.
you. Have you been to the Marlins Park, Cooley?
I have not.
It's awesome. I've been to a couple games there. It's like the same thing.
What they
the
said.
climate is perfect. It's beautiful. I'd have like season tickets if I was there.
Yeah.
It's
You
awesome.
go to a PNC game, you just
sweltering, the sun's beating down on you. It's all right at night, but
But we went there, and they had some new. I think they just renovated some stuff out in right field. They had
what do they
call that? The course. What do they call that?
Concourse.
The concourse. They just renovated. It was pretty sweet. It was awesome. And like, if you haven't been to Tropicana Field and you're going to, if you're going to be down in St. Pete,
check out Tampa Bay
go
Downs
check
too.
it out.
You guys ever go there? Have you ever been there?
No,
Tampa
I've
Bay
never been to
Downs.
Downs.
Yeah, it's worth it.
Wait,
horse track over there.
No, we
We were
haven't.
at the we were at the casino.
Oh, jeez, that was. We went to the casino. We went to the Hard Rock Casino, and we stayed up. We had a flight at like 7 in the morning. We stayed up all night. We went to the casino and then went straight to the airport.
Yeah, that was a good night. That was.
I don't think any of us won any money.
Shout out, boss. She loves the casino.
Yeah. It's a fun. Casinos are fun, except when you lose.
Except when you're with Nick, right?
Yeah.
And Nick wins everything.
Yeah, Nick always wins.
Hey, we gotta put the brakes on Nick because he got on me because I messed up a story a couple.
We
got to
get him on here to defend himself.
Yeah, he's got to get on and put his dukes up, and that's somebody that before Soup and Cooley fight, it'll probably be me and Nick. After the foot race. So.
Schedule me for Nick too. I'm taking out everybody.
He's got to fight Say. He's got to fight Cool. He's got to fight Jubb.
Count me in too.
Jeez, Jarrett too.
Well, it's be like a Royal Rumble.
Cool.
And I know he wants a piece of Soup. He's always talking smack on Soup.
I'm gonna turn the other cheek and walk away from Nick. I don't want to fight Nick.
Very good.
All right, fair enough.
What do you say, Jubb? Little hot pick, cool mug.
Well, yeah. Let's we'll take a little break here and then come back and hit us. We'll hit you with a little bit of this week of history and some hot bit cold mug, and then we'll wrap it up. And we'll see you here in a second.
All right.
Good work. Good stuff again. All right, welcome back. For our last, let's say, 30 minutes here, we're going to hit our two most famous and renowned segments of the show, This Week in History. So we'll start off with that, and then we're going to wrap up the show with a little bit of Hot Pit Cold Mug presented by Duggar's famous chicken and wings.
Whole lot of chicken.
But yeah, so This Week in History from May 9th to May 15th. So I'm gonna start us off here real quick. Now we were talking about this before the show. May 12th, 1932. The Lindbergh baby's body is found in New Jersey.
Start out dark.
Well,
Yeah. Who's Lindbergh?
I had I didn't know
Jared
what this
didn't know,
was.
so
I didn't know what this
I
is.
still don't.
Are you going to explain, Jubb, or do you?
No, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, well,
it's
Charles
Charles
Lindbergh was a famous aviator. He was a guy that was trying to fly or make these incredibly long flights. Anyway, he was a politician. He was just an activist. He was a very wealthy, connected guy. And anyway, he also had some dark areas to him too. Many people believe he was like a pro-Nazi guy, sympathizer, that kind of stuff. So he had people that loved him and people that hated him. And then that was a really polarizing time in the country. Anyway, he and his family had their baby was kidnapped, and but they don't know a whole lot about what happened with it. But they discovered the body found weeks later or whatever.
Leave it up to me to make it dark. Honestly,
Yeah.
when
I
you
was
said
curious what that-
but you said Lindbergh baby, and I thought I didn't read it before I just said that, and I thought it was something like it was going to be like some kind of like a chocolate baby or something like a candy baby or something.
Hey.
And then I read it, and as I got to the end of the sentence, I went, "Oh shit!"
Where you saw the body
Yeah, I
part?
saw a body.
Yeah, hey, one time Champ made a joke about he was the Lindbergh baby, and the baby wasn't really dead. So maybe he is. The Lindbergh baby could
That's
be
pretty.
here
That's
in the Pine
pretty
Room.
historically knowledged fact by
Yeah, the
Champ
egg.
that knows that.
Yeah.
Like,
He's a smart
Yeah,
guy.
I mean, he was
Because wait, there's a Lindbergh. That's what I thought. Lindbergh cheese is a thing.
Limburger.
A Limburger.
I think there
I
may be a
got it
Limburger.
confused. I thought it was
real quick before we continue with this this week in history, a non-sporting event that I want to go to is the cheese roll. Have you seen
Have
any
you
of
ever
those?
What
seen
about
that?
where's that at? Wisconsin?
No, it's in a
Oh,
hill in Scotland.
Oh no, I've seen
the,
that. Yeah, exactly. You're exactly
oh,
right.
People get like brutally injured. with
That was incredible video. I
It's
saw
awesome.
that.
It's that. There's that, and
That's
then
on
you
my-
ever see they get in the little kid buggies and they go down the hill.
It's called the soapbox racing.
Oh, I love those so much. Those
Yeah,
are so
in
much.
that was in L.A. I think recently.
Yeah, but both of those things. No, I don't think it's the box that what you're thinking about. There is the one where it's like it's like a bunch of hillbillies get
the
together.
Barbie Jeep. The
They
Barbie
get in
Jeep
Barbie
racing.
Jeeps and they go down the hill as fast as they can. Whoever makes it to the bottom wins.
It's I don't know where.
If
it's
you
at.
haven't seen it, go look up the cheese roll and go look up
Job, I want you to
downhill
add
Barbie
I want
racing.
you to add this video. The Cooper's Hill Cheese Rolling and Wake is an annual event held on the spring bank holiday at Cooper's Hill near Gloucester in England.
Gloucester.
Gloucester.
Yeah, Gloucester.
Participants race down the
Or
200.
Gloucester, they'll call it too.
They race down the 200-yard long hill after a round of double Gloucester cheese as it is sent rolling down.
So what? But what? Do you win something if you get the cheese?
I guess.
I want to say I don't know if this is correct, but I want to say you win a year of like free cheese from what.
Is that the one you guys are talking about from Scotland?
Yeah.
Or is that
yeah.
Or is that
Or
the
li-
England?
Chris, you ever seen that? The cheese roll?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen it in a while, but those
We could do
videos
that
are
here.
hilarious.
Yeah, you guys do with the ball for Evie.
Yeah, but that's just people break their legs and shoulders and arms and all
Hey, Matt,
for
well,
cheese.
Matt, I commend you for paying attention in history class
Oh,
to
oh.
know all that about
thank you.
Lindbergh, because
Yeah,
I
I mean,
should know that.
There's
too.
more to it than that too, but I don't want to bore people.
I know, but good job.
Does
Good
anyone
job.
want to lift our spirits, or are we going to
Well,
keep
what
on
about
a-
Matt? What happened? Where were Lewis? I should probably know this, but where did Lewis and Clark leave from?
Well,
No, it's in the Midwest. I want to say it was
So
around
was it
somewhere.
St. Louis?
Yeah, it could have been. I think it was St. Louis area. It was right around in the Missouri River territories.
yeah. May 14th, 1804, Lewis and
Yeah, I
Clark
wanna say,
set out
Jarrett,
to
you might be
explore
right.
the Northwest.
Is it true? Real quick, is it true that there's parts of the Mississippi River that you can't see across? It's that wide.
Oh, I've been to the top of it, the mouth of it, up on the Minnesota and Wisconsin border. It's incredible, guys. It's really something
So
to see.
it's not the
It's
Ohio
incredible
River.
vast. No. It makes our river's not small by any
No.
means, but you guys would be shocked about how wide it really is. It's
So
very very neat.
Are there parts where you can't see? The
Yeah,
other side?
the part that you could see the other side, but it was extremely far away.
What's
so.
the flow? Does it flow pretty good? Like
Oh, and it just looks so deep in the current.
Yeah.
It's
Does it
strong.
look like? Does it? You know how when you're at the beach and it looks like it just never ends?
Right.
Is that what it looks
Yeah,
like?
but
with
see, you got some like little islands and stuff in there intermixed. I probably wasn't at the widest part, but it was up towards the mouth, and it was
and
really
you can't,
impressive.
So you legit can't see the other side.
Well, on the place that you could barely, but it was
Yeah.
it was you had to really look.
man,
So.
water is a terrifying thing.
Yeah, and it rained a lot. I was up there for one of my friend's wedding, and she's from La Crosse, and we went over there to watch a baseball game actually in Minnesota. But yeah, it was quite something.
What
to
do you
see.
think they'd find if they drained that? If they drained the whole river?
Well, up there, I mean, bodies and stuff would all be washed way down to the bottom. I mean, it's flowing. I mean, it's flowing hard out of there. I mean, and Chris and I've seen it down in Memphis, and it's an incredible current.
Job, is that
Just-
you or Jarrett that your guys' biggest saying with the water is it's at night it's the scariest.
At night,
thing.
it's scary. When we used to drive,
Both of you
when we
guys.
used to drive over that bridge when we lived in Florida, when we used to drive over the bridge to get home,
Yeah,
I'd
it was
look it over the edge
terrifying.
would make me want to throw up.
Speaking of that, Chris, Jubb, you've been on it, the Chesapeake Bay Bridge. Chris has some issues with that.
That's terrifying.
Going on there when it's windy.
You know, and like he said, like being down at Tampa Bay Bridge, and you were talking about this bridge, you know, that we went across. What's it called again?
The Chesapeake Bay Bridge.
And I thought, you know, it's not going to be that bad.
It's
When we
up
got
there.
on that, boy.
What is it?
listen,
Yeah, it was one. It is either the or was one of the longest bridge at one point in the entire in the United States.
I've never been on it.
It
Is it
not.
long? Or
It's
is it
long
oh,
and
it's-
high.
Well, it's like the Skyway
Yes.
Bridge in Tampa Bay.
Right, I've been on that one, too.
I mean, that one's like a you're
Yeah.
going.
The,
when you're
the
driving
Chesapeake
on it, it's like,
to me was a little more terrifying than that one, but not by much. And if you're on there when it's windy, it's
Does it
really
move?
oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
They'll close it when it gets too bad. Yeah, absolutely.
Jeez.
I just looked up that the Mississippi River at its deepest point is 200 feet deep. Wow. Which is incredible.
I don't know why, but I expected deeper.
I did too.
I don't know.
I thought the same thing about the Ohio River, but like they said that it's at deepest points at only 20 feet. Now I say that's shallow, as in
It's like William Pug Pool.
yeah, but I mean, I bet you get in 20 feet of moving water.
Gosh,
That's like
200 feet's deeper than shit.
I would like to try to swim across that.
Yeah, but when you
sometime.
think the ocean's like thousands of feet deep, and then
But this is a river.
How
Yeah,
long
I
until
know.
we find out what's at the bottom of that ocean?
never.
Never.
Oh,
Never.
Never. Things will,
Never.
our skulls will crush in before that. Actually, they got machinery that can go down in there, but
Well, Matt, did they find? They did years ago find the Edmund Fitzgerald up there in
yeah, Lake Superior. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Matt, I did have a question for you.
Yeah.
But
We had a conversation
Maybe I can answer it.
at the field.
Yeah.
I just wanted your opinion and Jared's opinion. Actually, we were wondering if we all got thrown into the Amazon, who out of everybody on the set, who would be most likely to survive or survive the longest?
And that includes people
As
on,
in the
on
Amazon
the set
The Amazon
like us.
rainforest.
they got
Yeah,
or the Amazon River.
No, Jesus
Rainforest.
Christ, the
Okay.
river,
If it was in the
everybody.
river, it wouldn't be long
We're
for
all
any of us.
dying.
Well, we could die of so many things down there.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
just mosquito bites, anacondas, the
Spiders.
tribesmen. If you go the wrong area, there's one of those tribes that doesn't welcome. Like when Jeremy Wade visited that tribe.
yeah.
Remember that? And the chief's brother went missing.
Yeah, they
were
thought
going
they
to
were
kill
gonna do it.
Jeremy
They were gonna
Wade.
kill him.
Yeah, they
There's
thought
a-
he was bad luck.
There's an island, and I'll clarify next episode, but there's
know
an island
exactly where
that
you're
has
going.
never had contact with humans before.
Right.
Yeah,
We're
that
going off on
island's
a
scary.
tangent here, but they've never had contact with humans, and a photographer went onto the island to take pictures, and he got off, and it was fine, and then they took him and just slaughtered him.
Where was that at? In Africa, South America?
No, I don't know where it was.
Because I know there are some of those.
It was off
things
the
that
coast.
believed to
It
exist.
might be off the coast of Madagascar, if I'm not
Okay,
wrong.
yep.
And they took him, and they actually, before they went on, which I don't know how, it could have been two separate incidents. If it's not, I don't know how you don't take this as a warning. They just volleyed. They let a volley of arrows out at their boat before they even got to the shore.
That's like in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, and whatever reason, he went onto that island. They never saw him again.
Hey, do you think they'd like if we did a podcast there?
Yeah, we're coming down.
Yeah.
We have to speak the language.
Hey, Job, well, when we were having that conversation on Sunday about the Amazon and the rainforest, Mr. Cooley there said, and remember this, you said you'd be down there, because he thinks he would survive better than anyone, but he said, I'd get my hands wrapped around a grizzly bear's neck and snap it. And that would be his food. And I thought, I mean, I don't know, but are there grizzly bears?
I cannot
In the Amazon?
recall.
Yeah.
No.
And I was like, you're way off base there. And
Yeah.
I just thought
So
of
he
the
was-
most like ferocious animal. I don't know. Just
Okay,
threw it out
all right.
there.
I'll be worried about them
Hey,
anacondas.
Soup,
down there.
he's pretty impressed with his strength and ferocity.
He is
I
a
mean,
strong- he is a
I know,
strong
but
dude,
he
though.
like he's. Do you like to fight?
No, I mean I've only been in like one. but
Okay.
We'll settle it
I
though.
want to make it
I,
two.
I think Jubb would last pretty long. Just to answer your question, and you asked for me and Jarrett, Jubb would
think
do
Jubb
pretty
would
well.
do well,
Now, my
too.
brother would be very good at that.
Yeah.
He's a pretty good outdoorsman, but I
Not
think
you, Cooley.
I would say that Jubb and Jarrett's dad might die the fastest, because not because he's not resourceful, but because I can just see him. He'd probably be getting into the moonshine and fall into the river, and it'd be over.
With
quick.
that knee,
Right.
he'd be a mess.
Right.
He'd need a walking stick.
Hey,
he'd
just
get-
real quick, Cools. A grizzly bear has the bite force of 1,160 pounds per square inch, which is enough to crush a bowling ball.
All right. Well, how about this? What is the strongest animal you guys think you could take on?
no,
Without
Oh, goodness
Strongest?
gracious.
Barely a
Hey,
dog.
think on it. Think on it, and we'll come back to it next episode. But so, well, this week in history. Anybody else? Anybody want to highlight anything else?
I don't know what looks good there. Mary Queen of Scots was defeated at Langside in 1568 on May 13th. She ended up getting her head chopped off.
Oh,
later.
wow.
And oh, Gabriel Fahrenheit. How about this one? Born in Danzig, Germany,
Did he
May
invent-
14th, 1686. Yeah, he come up with the mercury in the thermometers, which led to Fahrenheit being
Are we
named
the only
after.
one that use Fahrenheit?
Yeah, we don't.
We
with
use
our
the,
known metric
we use
system,
the
we don't.
imperial system.
Yes, I think us and there's one other.
Yeah, I know there's one.
There's
more,
one
I'm
other
pretty sure.
one. What other is an island nation? Maybe. Shoot.
All those weirdos.
Dang, I read that not that long ago, Soup. But yeah, I think it's just us. Us and one other small nation.
Only 3 countries: the
Oh, okay,
U.S.,
3.
Liberia,
There.
and I don't know if I can pronounce this last one correctly.
Myanmar.
Myanmar. Yeah,
Myanmar.
in Liberia. Here's a trivia question for you guys. Liberia is the only nation in the world that's capital city is named after a U.S. president. You have any idea what it is?
Hold on, what was that again?
Liberia is the only country in the world whose capital city was named after a United States
Washington,
president.
Liberia.
Garfield.
Roosevelt.
Trump.
All right, I'll give you a clue.
Trump,
I'll give you a clue. He was in one of the first 5 presidents.
Jackson.
He was 7, I believe.
Madison?
Damn it.
Jefferson.
No, it was me, James.
You guys got them almost all of them. It wasn't
It's not-
Madison.
It's not Washington.
I only know the
Liberia.
It
first
wasn't
and most
Jefferson. It
recent.
wasn't Washington. It wasn't Jackson. So who's
Who's
left?
the second bastard?
Remember, we asked Champ that question.
The
I think
second
it was
bastard.
John Adams was second, and
Okay.
it's not him. So it's the last guy.
Who's the
Who's
last
the
guy
third
then?
bastard?
Third was Thomas Jefferson.
Okay.
Who's?
The fourth bastard.
Oh, I honestly,
know any
man,
of that.
this is bad. That's horrible. Whoever my
All right,
history teacher was, I'm sorry.
James Monroe.
Okay.
So
okay.
Monrovia, Liberia.
Yeah,
is
but
the
what
guy.
did he do?
Yeah.
Right, no.
Well, he was very involved in foreign affairs. So that's
Right.
probably
He
why they
founded
named it for him.
Monroe Mufflers. Or whatever.
Didn't George Foreman used to do commercials for him, didn't he?
Yeah, that, and then he started
the
pimping his
grill.
grill.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about birthdays down there, Job?
Oh, yeah.
Wheeling native
Joe Corbett.
John. John
Sorry.
Corbett.
I got.
Yeah, John Corbett. He went to West Liberty, guys. So
Wheeling
we,
Central.
We all have that in
7.
common.
Wheeling
'Cause we
Central.
all of us here graduated from West Liberty. How about that?
Joe Corbett's his brother.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We got Billy Joel.
Yeah.
Chris, are you a Billy Joel fan? Give or take.
Give or take. Yeah, I just there's so many songs that are overplayed, like Piano Man. But I mean, he can't. He's awesome. He was the very first guy that played up at Starlake. If you did,
Yep.
the very first. And I remember because I went to the second show. It might have been first night was a Friday, and I just remember it was. They said they had so many traffic issues, and it was awful. But then the next night they had it figured out, and he was awesome.
Hey,
but
there's some
Job,
pretty good ones
you
on
see the girl down the bottom of the list there?
Miranda Cosgrove.
Yes, from
iCarly.
your favorite movie.
Jesus.
there.
29.
Summer Hathaway.
Summer
Now,
Hathaway.
shout out to our friend in the Eastern Panhandle, Kevin Curry, who's an avid listener to this
Wait
podcast.
a second.
He's the biggest fan of Miranda
Is
Cosgrove.
that the video of Josh Peck when he's sitting on the boat and he's screaming at Miranda Cosgrove? You know what I'm talking about?
No,
No.
that's
You're
a totally
thinking of a
different movie.
yeah.
Totally different movie.
Totally different movie. Miranda Cosgrove, she was in.
She was the
in-
band manager.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She was going to be a groupie, and she didn't.
Yeah.
She didn't want
She
to
didn't
sleep
like
with the
it.
band.
What'd she say the groupies
She said
did?
groupies
Yeah.
are sluts. They sleep with the band.
Yeah.
No, but then she was in iCarly.
She's
and then,
29. Hard to believe.
Was she in School of Rock before iCarly?
Oh yeah,
Yes, she was
School
very
of Rock,
young.
School of Rock came out in
Hey,
2001.
and Cools, look who else is on there. George Lucas,
Yeah,
May
that's big.
14th,
That's a
turning
big boy.
78.
Our
the
boy.
man.
The savior.
Yes.
Our boy.
Wish he was still. Well, he's still alive, but I
Yeah.
wish he was
He's
still
still
involved.
advising, but yeah,
Hey,
it's
and
not
then
the same without
and
him.
then I'm a big fan of Stevie Wonder.
Yes, yeah, shout
Is
out
he
to him.
blind?
He said yes.
He
yes.
is.
They say he's not,
He's
though.
still blind.
There's actually a conspiracy that he's not blind.
All right, he was umpiring down at Garden Park.
There's a conspiracy.
Yeah.
Yes, there's if you look up just on YouTube, Google Stevie Wonder not blind, and you'll see videos of him shaking people's hands like as
Like
if
he can reach, like you put
like
the
he'll
hand
shake
and
it
he
out and
sees
just
it.
shake.
But
just-
Maybe
But
it's just an
aren't you
educated
forced?
guess.
Well, their senses are better.
Yeah, maybe
than
he's
a lot
using
of
the
us.
force,
He's using
right?
the force.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
He has
Wow.
heightened sensitivity to
Wow.
Hey, you better put him on that.
Job-
the
Job's a
little,
conspiracy
what is that
theorist.
called? The thumbnail.
Yeah,
when you put-
thumbnail. He'll be on there.
Yeah,
He'll-
Stevie
he'll-
Wonder is he still?
Stevie Wonder's not blind. He just
Right.
has the force.
Job,
He's been faking this for.
Job doesn't believe in any of that. The pickle juice, Stevie Wonder.
No,
he,
I didn't
remember
say
he,
I
you,
don't
you
believe
thought the
in
girl
it.
from Georgia was faking when she got the camera smashed in her face.
What was that game?
Chamberlain Smith was her name.
Chamberlain Smith. She got the eyepiece of her camera jammed into her head,
What?
Yeah.
and it was all fake for publicity.
I gotta say,
And she-
Job's a real glass half. What is it?
Glass half empty.
Yeah.
Glass half empty. Kind
You're
of
a realist,
Oh,
Job,
he's
right?
like-
That could be called a realist.
I'm
That's
half
what I
full
am,
over
too.
here. Hey, how about this though? 109 days until college football.
Yeah.
that is awesome.
Yeah.
It's going to be here soon.
That'll
I can't
be
wait.
that'll be lovely here. You'll see us in full form here
Hey.
on that day.
Does anybody give a fuck about Tom Brady joining Fox after
No.
he's done
Fuck
playing?
Cool's might.
Well, it scares me because I want him to play another year.
Right.
Well, no,
Nah,
he
you know,
was.
that's
But
there
like-
whenever he feels like
Well, the
it.
reason I brought it up, they was just announced today, and I was driving a good bit, and every time I turn on a sports talk show, that's all they talked about. I mean, he might end up being terrible, but they're going to pay him a shit ton of money.
It's like
and just
10
like,
years, $365 million. It's
Just
more
to-
than he's made in his whole
when's the
NFL
last
career.
time you decided to watch a game for the announcers? Never.
That's a good
Howard
question.
Cosell, when I wasn't even alive. No, John Madden. I enjoyed that, but that's it.
Gus
Right.
Johnson.
Right, but you.
And in your lifetime, you probably had that opportunity. Vin Scully, I will say, I absolutely turned on Dodger games to listen to him.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
And
like
that was
I like
one of the few, though.
I like Greg Brown.
He's awesome. He's awesome, Job.
Did you like?
No, he's not.
Jarrett used to say some of them lines that he had that were
Oh.
hilarious.
Swinging a line
His
drive.
one last year with
With
Yoshi Tsutsugo, he said Tsutsugo was the worst, had to be the worst call
What'd
in
he
sports
say?
history. When Yoshi Tsutsugo would hit a home run, he would say something with a song like Sugio.
No, yeah,
That's not
because-
even his last name.
Because it was the Phil Collins song,
Right,
Yeah.
Su Studio. So he would
Yeah,
do.
but he would say Sugio, but his
Yeah.
last name is Tsutsugo. It wasn't even his last name, and people would get pissed.
You-
Why
say-
does he do that? I mean, he always
He's
has to
gotta-
have these slogans.
He's got to add a little flair, Chris.
Yeah, well-
Cannonball Cummins good enough.
Yeah, you know who I do want to meet though one day? Just watching Pat White and Kevin Pittsnoggle, all those guys from WVU. I want to meet Tony Critty really badly.
I've met him a few times. I was on his
Is he?
show once. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Yeah.
I've
yeah.
always wanted to meet him, man. I think that'd be sweet.
He used to do a thing at the casino, so I was on there one time for March Madness.
I've met Randy Moss.
Yeah, wasn't he a dick?
The
Yeah.
pride of West Virginia.
Oh,
Rand.
He's
Rand.
a dickhead. I
Yeah,
was
tell this
sitting-
story real
I was
quick.
sitting across from him on like the little terminals at the airport, and I was with Isaac Hare and Spencer, and I'm sitting next to my mom. I'm like, I think that's Randy Moss. He's like, no, it's not him because he's got this hoodie on. It's got dirt all over it. So I'm like, I mean, it's a Patriots kid. I think that's Randy Moss. And he gets out, and that 6'5" looking huge.
Yeah.
I was like, that's Randy Moss. And Isaac Hare, my buddy, goes up to ask for a picture with him. And we didn't realize he was on the phone. He said, can't you see I'm on the phone? Fuck off. But,
Jesus.
yeah, and then he tweeted at us, and it was just,
He's a little combative from what I hear.
yeah, fuck Randy Moss.
Well, on a brighter note, he should have been your hot pit for today. We're gonna get right into that. This hot pit cold mug. The name's staying.
Job,
thought it was
is
cool
it hot?
mug.
Is it
You
cold
son of a
or
bitch.
cool?
What'd I say?
Cold.
Cold.
A hot pit cool mug. Did I
Either
say-
way.
Cool, as in like this is a cool. What I'm about.
So I want my mug cold though.
Yeah,
kinda
I want
do.
a cold
I want
mug.
the fucker
Yeah.
frozen.
All right,
I
we're doing
think it could be a
mug?
cold mug.
Okay,
Like
I
at the cork bar,
cold mug
Chris.
It is.
Yeah, like if you go to a bar, you don't want a cool mug. You want a cold mug.
Yeah. Frosty.
Lukewarm mug.
Yeah.
Ew.
All right.
Ew.
Well, there. The name
mug.
did change. Hot pit cold mug.
Or Frosty mug.
This hot pit cold mug is brought to you by Duggar's Famous Chicken and Wings. You can stop down and see them. That's 195 29th Street in Wheeling. Their number is 304-233-3155. You'll see that ad pop up right down here on the screen. You can order them on DoorDash now. Anything from Duggar's you can order on DoorDash. They open at 6 a.m. They're open from 6 a.m. to 12 a.m.
Yeah, he's got great hours.
Hell, I mean,
he
you want
does.
to go in there and get a tender at 6 a.m. I don't know if the grill. I don't know if they're serving tenders at 6 a.m. But hell, you can go
I got
ahead.
a special offer for our listeners too. If you go and you order those chicken tenders with the pig out sauce, and you get a hold of me and say you actually didn't like them, I'll give you a $20 free bet to any of your sports books.
Well,
that
now
you have.
somebody's just
Ooh.
going to come and tell you
Nah,
they don't like
they
them.
gotta
They
be-
didn't.
I have to know that
You
you
gotta be
actually,
honest.
You
Right.
have to.
We
be
need to see
honest.
proof of purchase.
Yes, because listen, those chicken tenders with that pig out, that's some real deal stuff.
It's really
Hey,
good.
and you know one thing about and I didn't know that Duggar's did this. They give you, instead of a like a takeaway box, they give, for at least for the 8-piece tender and JoJo's, they give you, the rotisserie bags that you
Yeah.
can get
Yeah.
for chicken. They give you in one of those bags. Like instead, you,
it
you
has
don't.
like the little windows you can see.
Yeah, you can see the food.
steam.
Yeah, your
Chicken's
mouth,
peeking at you.
your mouth's water before you
I'm
even
like,
get to
good
it.
Lord.
But yeah, instead of carrying a box around and worrying about that, it's a sealed bag. It's pretty sweet. So yeah, go down to Duggar's, tell them the Pine Room sent you, and let us know how you think their food is. If you tell us that they suck, you're full of shit. So, yeah, this Hot Pit Cold Mug is brought to you by Duggar's Famous Chicken and Wings. So, who wants to lead us off? Chris.
Well, I will, because this is a hot pit, and I don't want to end on a negative note.
Okay.
But Matt, I think you brought this up a couple episodes ago. Weren't we just talking about drivers and the carelessness and everybody just not being courteous and whatnot. So
Jared did too.
Yeah, my hot
it.
last week was tailgate. People tailgating. Fuck them.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know if you know, but last I think it was Tuesday on I-70 West, there was a fatal wreck up right inside the PA West Virginia border, and this fucking truck driver, Brishesh Kumar Yadav, 23, he's from either Washington State or California. But anyway, I'm just going to call him a piece of shit from now on because I don't feel like saying his fucking name. But he's driving westbound, and he is not paying attention. He's probably going full speed, and he collides. It causes a chain reaction. So this will tell you how fast he must have been going. The report didn't say how fast, but he hit a trailer that was hooked on, that was being towed by a GMC truck. That was pushed forward into a Honda CRV. That CRV was pushed into another stationary 18-wheeler, because there's always construction up there. So the two people that were in the CRV, so that was the second car, they were killed. It was Mark and Terry Tinsman. They were from Pennsylvania, but this piece of shit just not paying attention. And it said he applied the brakes 51.5 feet from the point of impact. And on our last break, Jarrett and I measured how far that was, and it was just slightly longer than the length of this.
Than the bocce cord
when he hit the brake. So you can imagine.
You could barely stop a car. What was he driving?
18-wheeler.
Big rig.
And he was heading west, and so and it just pisses me off. It's so.
There could be any of us out there, Chris, getting hit by this
idiot. It's so needless. It's so senseless, and I just feel so bad for those the people that died in their family, and that's the worst part of it. But just think about all the people that were inconvenienced because they said the interstate was closed down for hours.
No.
And it stands still, can't go anywhere.
What
He
happened to him?
He got charged. Well,
He's still alive.
Oh, he's
fine,
healthy
huh?
as us. But
what company did he drive for?
It was Bulldog Freightways or so. I never heard of him.
Well, hopefully they
should
terminated
put-
him immediately.
Exactly,
And
but
executed
he
him.
only got charged with two counts of negligent homicide, which is a misdemeanor.
That's fucking.
So I hope this guy. I mean, they didn't really.
That's a travesty.
Yeah, but I hope the rest of his life's a living hell, and I hope he spends the rest of his eternity in hell. So
how could the prosecutor not go for something more than that?
I don't know.
They should put him.
I was so mad about that.
They should put him in like a little sedan on a highway and let an 18-wheeler just take him.
I
out.
mean, that CRV doesn't give you much protection.
And unless he had some kind of medical thing, but he was only 23.
No.
And just to be that irresponsible.
And it's his profession to drive.
Right.
Yep.
So you can't say, well, that was accidental. He didn't mean it. Well, tough shit. You can't be fucking doing that when
and you're driving an 18-wheeler.
Yeah.
You're not driving a sedan.
Yeah.
But,
so fuck this piece of shit.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my hot,
Right.
my Duggar's famous chicken and wings hot pit.
All right. Yeah. Jarrett.
Well, I got a little bit of a cold mug here. I guess it's a cold mug. Today I saw, this is really cool actually. So in South Korea, every citizen here soon is going to lose 1 year on their life.
What?
So
You mean they're just going to get younger?
So I don't know if they're going to get younger, but they're yes. Sorry.
Ponce de
they're gonna
Leon
get-
discovered the fountain of youth in South
Jared,
Korea.
if you're 24, next year you'll be 23.
I don't. It's soon. So I guess they just elected a new president in South Korea, and one of his first orders of business is to abolish what they call the Korean year or Korean age. Yeah. So that is when you're born. You're 1 year old when you're born, but at New Year's Day, everybody in the country gains a year. So I guess technically, if you were born on December 31st, you'd be 1. So then the next day you would be 2.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's like the horses when I was telling you guys about that.
Yeah, so no matter what. So really, the baby would be 2 days old, but in South Korea, he's 2 years old.
Wow.
So I guess.
Also, I see what he's doing now, taking the year off.
So he's taking away that I'm not sure what I don't know if he's taking away the year when you're born or if it is on like the New Year's Day year.
Wait,
if you know what I mean.
hold on. I'm just because I was a little zoned out there. Everybody that's born adds a year to their life.
So in Korea, when you are born in Korea, you are 1 year old. You're not
Like
zero.
how we start
Well,
out.
no,
we're
that
zero.
I guess that
You're
makes
one.
sense.
Yeah.
So you're 1 year old, but then when on New Year's Day, no matter of the day that you were born, you get everybody in the country gains a year.
I tried
Every-
to
wait,
explain
every
that. I
year?
didn't understand
Yes,
that,
yes, every-
episode
So there's
before.
no birthdays?
Well, yes, you have your birthday, but I don't like it. I
I think you still celebrate
Wow,
your
so
birthday,
if
but
you were
you
born
still
on
celebrate-
December
technically
31st,
on all your identifications and stuff, it'll
Yeah.
list
Yes,
your
you would-
years if you were
yeah,
born.
but
You're
so-
right, Jared.
so
You
that
that would be your
don't-
third birthday. Then if you went December 31st, you're 1. Now you're 2 on January 1st. Now you're about to have your third birthday a year later.
I have two things.
Right?
I'm so confused.
I got-
I'm not. I get
no,
where
no.
Jared's
I
coming
got two
from.
questions. One, could you imagine being like 20 years old and like you just want to go drinking with your
Yeah,
friends?
I was
and
going
now
to
all
say
of a
that
sudden you're
too, Coles.
21?
Yeah, that would hurt.
Or
Yeah.
if you're 21 and he takes the year off, and
And
now
then
you're 20
yeah.
again.
And
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sure how
That
it
is
works.
a cold mug, though. I like that.
Yeah, I
here's
just
my
thought it was
second
really-
question because I'm a little confused. So say he's 1. He was born not 1. Say he was born January 2nd, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when that day
Is he
comes, like
zero?
January 1st, he's 1. Then January 2nd, he would turn 2.
So yeah, I guess if he was born on the 31st of December, he's 1 year old.
Yes.
He's 1 year old.
Then the next day
Then
he'd be 2.
tomorrow, New Year's Day,
He's 2.
He's 2.
And now December 31st, he'll turn 3 a year later.
Yes.
From
Now
his
hold
birth.
up now.
Yes.
Now hold up now. Now what if a baby is born and he's only a year old and he doesn't get to the date when he takes this back? Now is he 0 again?
Wow.
I would
Oh,
say
man.
zero.
This is
again.
nuts.
We're gonna have to study
Yeah,
up
we'll
on
study
this.
up on it. Come
Yeah,
back
next
with you
episode.
next
Jared, can you
week.
get a hold of the new president of South Korea?
Hey, but
I'll call him.
Louis the 14th became king of France at the age of 4. That
Oh.
happened this week too.
Yeah,
Hey,
we
if
missed
he
that
wa-
in the history.
If he was alive now, he would be turned back to 3.
Hey, wonder if Jung Ho Gung will be able to come back to the Pirates with this new guy.
I think he's finished.
All right. Anybody else with anything?
I got a cold mug.
Go ahead, Swoop.
This week is, and I know a lot of you guys probably have family members that are in healthcare. This week is National Nurses Week, so I wanted to give a massive shout out to my
Yes.
favorite director of nursing in this country, Stacey Campbell, Mama Soup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I saw her go through the last 2 years in the middle of this pandemic, taking care of people's families and residents, and there was actually incredible. So
And-
she's
Yeah.
a
Shout
a
out to all
warrior,
those-
man.
Shout
Yeah,
out.
shout out to every
And
single
All the
one.
first
we need
responders
to-
and frontline workers,
We need to
man.
give a
Shout out to
shout
them
out
as
to
well.
Cheryl Doyle, who works in the medical
we
field.
know we got a
which
lot
is
of them. Cousin Mike's wife,
Cousin
Brittany.
Mike,
Yep.
Brittany Decreased. Yeah, shout out to
All
you.
of those-
Carol McCormick.
Carol McCormick.
McCormick.
Yep.
She,
Another avid listener of the
And I
Pine Room
talk with,
podcast.
I tell this to Cooley all the time too. All the first responders, all the healthcare workers, a large majority of our teachers, I think, pay them more. Give them whatever they want. They do something
Yep.
that a large majority of this country is not willing to do, and to educate and to protect others and to save people. So
Absolutely.
pay them what
hey,
they want.
Soup,
That's how I feel.
does your mother feel underappreciated, which I think a lot of them are?
I wouldn't say
but-
underappreciated, but I would say they need more help.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. They're understaffed across this entire country, and while they're understaffed, I think they need reimbursed for what they went through over the last 2 years. That's in this whole country.
Oh
so.
yeah, and well, we can maybe talk about it
But
another
yeah,
time.
that's my
but-
cold mug. I love
Good
you, Bob.
job.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Cools, you got anything this week?
got nothing
You
this
got
week.
nothing? Matt?
No, I'll pass.
All right.
You gotta have one, Joe.
I'll finish this out. Now I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, and
should
I
be
know
dark.
I
Yeah,
know.
here we go.
No.
We're
This
heading dark. Hold on
this
to
is
your
a cool
seats.
mug. This is a cool mug. It's pretty light. I know my dad, who's just walked in here. He doesn't give a shit about about me bringing it up a couple episodes ago. But I've been watching closely the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case. Now this has nothing to do with the case, it has nothing to do with the subject of the case, even though it's interesting to me. But I think I have really enjoyed watching the inner workings of a courtroom over the past couple weeks. I've never been interested in law. I've never been interested in any sort of anything in that field. But I've gotten to watch, all the inner workings of how these attorneys work and how the team, especially Johnny Depp's team, seems really kind of like close knit, and they're doing a great job. And I think it's just really cool. I don't know anything about law, like I said. So if you're out there in that kind of field, kudos to you for all the work that you do. And I, speaking of law, I watched Liar Liar last night.
Oh,
in that
wonderful
courtroom
movie.
scene.
Wonderful
Yeah,
movie.
but anyway,
Job, you would have absolutely loved the OJ trial.
I know.
As a kid who was old enough to understand that, you would have loved it.
and this is I think it's kind of why I'm interested in it, because there's nothing that has been this televised that I've been able to watch. But it's been cool. It's been fun to watch, and I don't want to get any details of the case because I know everybody and their mother, and there's more important things going on in the world other than a case between two celebrities. But yeah, I think it's cool. I've never been to law stuff, so I've been learning some new stuff over the past thing. So I know what hearsay means. I know what call to action to moving to strike.
Yeah, geez, yeah.
What
Law is
else?
entertaining. It is.
Yeah, I could go into a bunch of different points, but yeah, that's my cold.
You
mug.
watch Better Call Saul?
I honestly saw an ad and I'm gonna start.
Okay.
I'm gonna start because I think he's a badass. He was in a movie.
You watched Breaking Bad,
was
right,
that?
Job?
I watched it with Cooley. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a show. Is that Bob Odenkirk?
Yeah.
He was in a movie. Real quick, he was in a
he's a
movie.
good actor.
What was in the movie? Oh shoot. He's a dad, and his house got robbed, but he used to be an FBI agent or a CIA, some kind of secret undercover agent. He just beats the shit out of these guys on a bus, and it's an unbelievable scene. Yeah. But anyway, that's it for us here in the Pine Room. Thanks for joining us for a Hot Pit Cold Mug, brought to you by Duggar's Famous Chicken and Wings. Make sure you follow us on all our social media. You can see our new ticker here. Again, thanks to Chris for
well
the
done,
ticker.
Chris.
And you can follow us on all our social media that we're at the Pine Room Podcast. I believe we're at Pine Room Podcast on Twitter, but you can follow us on anywhere on social media. YouTube, we're at the Pine Room Podcast. Go watch, if you haven't watched any of the video podcasts, go watch stuff there. We're actually going to come up with some TikTok. So if you're into TikTok, we got some stuff coming out on there. We got guys working on social media. But more importantly, we have, the two events. We got the 13th, which is this upcoming Friday at Generations. We will be there. Again, I won't get into all the details I did at the beginning of the show, but be there, and we'd love to see you. It's awesome to see people that like the show and like what we do. Awesome to hear feedback from everybody, especially if you're there in person and get to see this whole operation work. It's awesome. So come down on the 13th, which is this upcoming Friday. We're there from 9 to 10:30, and then on the next following Friday, we're at Generation. Bless you. We're at River City. That's the 20th of May. We're there from 5 to 7:30. Again, come down. It's going to be a blast. You're going to get to meet all of us. You're going to get to meet Champ. You'll get to, we're going to have a fun time. Come down this Friday at Generations. Come down on the 20th. At River City, and we will see you guys here next week. Actually, before next week, we'll be at Generations, so look forward to that show.
See you Friday.
And we will see you Friday. So thanks for joining us here in the Pine Room, and we will see you here Friday night.
It's that time. The coolers are empty, the food's all gone, and the games are over. But that's all right. There's always next week. Follow us on social media to keep up to date with future shows and send any questions, comments, or topics you'd like us to discuss to contact@thepineroompodcast.com. Until then, we'll see you next time